I told you.
Oh no.
I wanted to go big in a box office prediction, but you guys were anchoring me, and I was like, all right, 215, 260.
Look, it
Of
blew us
course.
all out of the water.
Of course, he's going to start off this podcast like this. Off air, he's just like, "Oh, hey guys, how's it going? How's it going?"
Now, did I single-handedly make this happen? I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that one bit. But anyway, guys, welcome to the Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler discussion and breakdown spectacular king-sized issue episode.
Carson, wait, pause. Carson, have you only seen this movie once?
I've only seen it once on
Oh
Thursday.
my god!
I know.
What about you, Evan?
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah, get out of here.
I mean,
anyway,
right here. I know.
It's
I don't know how you did it.
So it's episode 61 of our podcast, just for the record.
Crazy.
But yeah, literally 20 minutes before we went live, I opened Notepad on my computer and I bullet pointed each individual scene point because I know it like the back of my hand now.
Are we going scene from scene?
I mean, well, it's it's
Is this
easy
the Last
enough.
of Us 3-hour podcast we got going on here?
We're gonna see what happens. I was like, it's bullet points. I'm not like
okay.
I didn't write down the blocking like
more so Easter eggs or just like plot stuff, character stuff.
like Mysterio reveals Pierce identity. Peter runs home with MJ, stuff like that.
Okay,
this is bullet pointed. Joining us, Carson.
Yeah, I've seen this movie one time, and I even canceled my A-list reservation for Friday so I could go to a Regal opening night and pay money so I could see it earlier. So I don't know. I don't want a cookie or anything, but like
it's already on the way.
And yeah, this is quite the experience. I can't wait to talk about this, and I think it's just a crazy weekend in general because everyone's arguing, of course, about not only Spider-Man but the movies in general.
Gotta bring it back.
And it's just crazy because, like, it's like the pandemic is hurting box office, and then Spider-Man comes out and does 260 million and 93% of the weekend total, which is a new record for a number one movie taking up that much of the box office. Avengers Endgame did 89% of the total box office in its opening weekend. And it's just crazy that
wow.
Yeah.
I thought Endgame obliterated everything. What
it
did it
did
come out with?
But there was still people like seeing other stuff that weekend in
what was that 2019, I think? Right.
April?
Ben. Yeah.
It really oh my god, it was.
It was. Yeah.
Ethan's getting theater sickness, not being at a theater right now.
It's so funny. You think it was, but just like Endgame, I was like borderline like going through withdrawal. I was like, oh no, I could keep going.
My audience.
I know because they're so infectious every time. Every time.
At least for the first weekend, I assume. Yeah.
55 million under the mark. I think we're all under the mark. Even Nathan.
I was 45 under. How much were you guys?
With his sheer Spidey optimism, couldn't nail it.
Yeah, I was like
even Sony themselves was like, oh, I mean, they were purposely lowballing a little bit. But I still think they were thinking, okay, we're gonna 2x Venom, because 90 million is the highest it's been in the pandemic. We'll easily get over 100, but I don't think we'll get 200, like 175. And then we'll just say 140. So then it comes out, we get 175 and we look good.
I remember their early estimates like 135, 155, something along those lines. Hey guys, I'm Evan. Right. I was not going 200. I was like 195. I think I'll pause at 195. And then like once Thursday hit, I'm like, okay. Now I'm like, even before I saw the movie on Thursday, I don't know if there's Twitter receipts. I was like, okay, I think it's cracking 200. I did not see beating Last Jedi. I thought Last Jedi was going to still stick it out for the third highest grossing, but it beat that. Then it beats Force Awakens. Then it beats Infinity War, which shocked me. I don't know. It's just, man, Spider-Man. People love Spider-Man. Spider-Man now is or Tom Holland and Spider-Man have the top 3 opening weekend with Endgame, Infinity War, and now No Way Home.
The
People love Spider-Man. That's crazy. And it all started back in 2002 with Spider-Man having the first highest opening weekend, $100 million.
And what's even more crazy, I think, is that Homecoming and Far From Home had like more modest openings. Like, I mean, granted, it was a different release time because it
Monday
was
at
summer.
midnight.
Yeah, but still, like, you know, they had like 100 and like I think Homecoming was like 109 million or something.
Yeah.
And then Far From Home was like slightly more from that if you like added it up like the first couple days or whatever. So for it to basically like 2x that in the third film, it's just nuts because it's like if Rise of Skywalker did more to The Force Awakens, if you think about it.
Which most of the times third ones do
slightly better than the second.
Better than the second, or maybe even
drop.
above the third, or drop. So yeah, that's interesting. I can't believe it only took us 6 minutes to mention Rise of Skywalker. We're just like the internet. Everybody keeps comparing it to Rise. I didn't even think of Rise of Skywalker after seeing this movie. I'm like,
No.
I guess
Not every ending of a trilogy.
I know
The end of the saga. Hold on.
it's weird. Anyways, though,
Return of the Jedi, maybe.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi, maybe. But yeah, 260. It was crazy because people keep saying like Spider-Man broke the pandemic, but we already kind of saw that with Venom. When it made 90 million, I'm like, that's insane. People are like, and that was in October.
Which it's such a weird because it was like, wow, 90 million. Now we're at 260.
Now we're at 260. What did Eternals?
That's what I was saying earlier in my tweets. Is like,
I think 40s.
Wow, really?
What
Eternals? What was Eternals? 70.
70.
70. I am sorry.
Yeah.
Better apologize.
Maybe it was the Black Widow one. I've been seeing like so many
Black
like
Widow
box office
was-
comparisons. And...
Black Widow was like 30.
Black Widow was 85, I think.
Oh, 80? Was it 80?
Or 80.
Am I-
80.
Am I talking
Okay.
about like Thursday
What?
night premieres? What am I talking
I
about?
don't know. Yeah, I'm tired.
I'm
I'm not tired, but yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I was talking about
I'm
all this
here.
in like a thread, and it's just like crazy that like going forward, like COVID especially just like pushed forward the extremes of like people show up.
No.
People-
They did.
I saw that tweet. It's so funny.
I didn't see that.
That's a tweet.
Oh, that's funny.
There was a tweet like Friday, and I was laughing my ass
Oh
off.
man.
It did. I was emotional. I was like,
Oh man, that's pretty good. That's a
Oh.
good one. Who was that? Tico? Oh man,
yeah.
Tico. I wonder if we got that from. I don't know. It could be a rap thing. I'm not sure. What's hip these days?
So yeah, I saw this movie 10 times.
That's
You're mad, man.
I saw it twice, and afterwards I'm just like, because my second time was like less hype than my first time, obviously. This lady, whenever somebody like screamed, like Andrew Garfield or Charlie Cox showed up, this one lady would be like, "Shh!" I want to be like, "Shut the fuck up, lady! Why are you telling people to shush during a Spider-Man movie?" First of all,
Oh
shut the
my
fuck
God.
up.
Did the cheers drown her out?
Most of the time they did. People still cheer, but it wasn't like every little thing like my Thursday thing. Every little thing on Thursday was just like, "Oh my gosh, they're swinging!" Go!
Dude, I got
was
really
insane.
I got really good audiences like every time. I was like happy.
That's
There was
good.
like, huh?
That's good. Yeah.
Mine was kind of tame. It was kind of surprising.
Oh.
Your
like-
Thursday?
Yeah, like Charlie shows
What format
up,
did you watch it in?
Regal. That's what it
standard.
Ah.
was. Standard.
Regal doesn't at my Regal. There's no premium formats. It's
You don't have
always
like a Regal
standard.
XD like Cinemark does, or
I have it like
Some Regals have
30
IMAX.
minutes away, the other way in Kansas.
Yeah,
So it's
Cinemark. I
less
always
than-
see things like Cinemark XD. It's like it's not
Uh-huh.
IMAX, but it's just like
Yeah,
wider
they're
screen.
premium.
They're
All of
premium.
my screenings were IMAX. by the
Although
way.
I was looking this up, and the Regal that's 30 minutes away from me has the 270-degree field of view thing where they have those screens on the sides. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, the like
it's called,
extension.
Yeah, it's called
It's
might be
called
Screen
Nausea.
X or something.
That's pretty good.
But it looks crazy, and I'm like, I kind of want to go try it. But anyways, yeah, I saw it in standard, but my theater was completely full. Like we were in the third row, and it was still good.
third
seats.
row. Oh, you mean
Yep.
third row in the on the back?
No, in the front, but like the recliners were good enough where I didn't have to I wasn't straining my head at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like with how many screenings I did, I had to like bounce around different seats.
Yeah.
For the most part, they were all pretty solid. I like the closest I got was like row C, which was like right behind the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Which I will say is a little too close for comfort, but since like the chair had like a rocking ability, I could like it was all right.
Rocking.
But okay, so yeah, I saw it twice Thursday night. The 3:30 and 7. And I saw it on Friday. This wasn't the plan, but I saw it 4 times on Friday.
How do you do that? I'll get a headache watching the same shit.
I know, and then hold on.
Wow.
There's a point there. And then 3 times Saturday, and then once after I went to work on Sunday. And okay, so what was funny is like on like Friday when I'm going through 4 different screenings, I'm sitting there, and there was a point. At no point was I was like, oh god, here I go again. I was like more fascinated at the thought of like, holy shit, I'm watching this scene for like the 5th time right now. So I was just taking it in like, this is interesting. And every time I like go to sit in, some part of me is occasionally like, am I really gonna like be here for this? But then with the response of the audiences, it just like it resets me to like the first time again every time. And by the end of the movie, I'm just like, this was great. I could do it again. It's wild.
Yeah, the ending is such a big euphoria. Like once,
So good.
even my second time, I'm like, the first act, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is solid stuff. But once it hits, like, let me go talk to Doctor Strange, the movie just hits a second level where it's just like constant. You're like Peter Parker, like Nathan said in the group chat, like Peter doesn't sleep. It's like, it's like a constant thrill ride ever since he walks through Doctor Strange's doors. And it's hard to.
It really is. And it got me thinking about that because are they on winter break? I'm assuming because like they just stopped going to school at one point, like which is totally fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was a weekend.
Well,
but...
yeah, it probably.
I guess it
is like an abridged time because he goes back to school and then like they start like having a montage of waiting time for their letters in the mail for college,
which is usually around like winter break. So that's
exactly.
It's sometime after Halloween, we know, because of the coffee shop stuff. But we're gonna get into this. This is quite the adventure.
Quite the adventure. How do you guys want to do it? Do you want to do? I feel like we should just do like a quick overall thoughts, and then dive into Easter egg shit, or just step by step, whatever.
I feel like there is like plenty of like great stuff to like discuss throughout. If for nothing else, that like I've been taking so much that I'm just like I notice new shit every time.
Yeah.
So okay, the way it started off, I really like with the narration, like recap of Mysterio's broadcast. Over the
which I saw there's multiple things that this movie a fan did this like 3 weeks ago on Twitter, and I was like, oh, what if the movie started like this? And then the movie started like this.
I remember I'm like, didn't I see this before? As I'm watching the movie on Thursday, I'm like, I swore I've seen this before. I had like Matrix deja vu.
So one of my like things I noticed like after repeat viewings was Jameson has the line where he's talking about Mysterio, the interdimensional hero who will no doubt go down as the greatest superhero of all time. As that's being spoken over the Marvel logo, that's when you see Spidey hop through the portal from Endgame on one of the clips they're playing, and I'm like, hell yeah.
There he is.
Spidey, the interdimensional hero. Greatest hero. But yeah, then it breaks down. And for like the split second when Peter like is about to say what the fuck again, I'm like, wait, this is the beginning of the movie. They can't cut around this. What are they gonna do? And they fucking car horn. And I was like, hell yeah, it's fun. But yeah, when the mob just starts like swarming, it's insane.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. Because I remember like we get a little bit of that from the trailer. I think I can't remember. But
I mean, you don't hear them. They're just like, hey, whoa.
Yeah.
It was crazy. People started jumping on top of them. It was like
someone like jumped off a car, tried to catch
someone
him.
Grabbed like MJ. Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're like, are you Spider-Man's girlfriend? This one lady was just like messing with Peter, and then like the slightest nudge Peter gives, she's like, he hit me. Spider-Man hit me. Like,
get out of my way. It's like, oh yeah, and one of the people are like, are you just a kid? Like, what's going on here?
And then they swing on top of the bridge and they yell, dude, tickets are on sale.
It worked a lot better on
Spider Monday.
Yeah. Spider Monday. Wow, take Spider.
And I like the music that's playing too. The music's very like,
it's
not like end of the world music. It's just like kind
It's like,
of
oh shit, here we go.
like homecoming
Boom,
kind of
boom,
music.
boom, boom.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So then they're swinging through the subway, hop out of the sewer. They're in front of Mr. Delmar's shop. It's like the third iteration. I don't know what the fuck he.
Literally.
And then they swing over to Peter's apartment. Happy and May are breaking up.
I am so freaking. My brother would attest to this. I'm like, thank God. That was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in Far From Home. I mean, that's stupidest. But I'm like, I think I said this in our commentary for Far From Home. I'm just like, I don't care for that. Like, I don't get the use or the reason for that.
You are 100% speaking my language, because I'm so glad that immediately they set the bar. They're like, no, we're dropping the whole like Aunt May is like the hot Aunt May, like haha, like thing. They dropped that, and I think she gets what she deserves in this movie 100%. She actually has an arc that I can follow for the most part. And I think the payoff is so wonderful in this movie. And I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted 2 movies ago.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Carson, on the May thing. Like, she's great in this movie. Like, this is where she's finally being like what we got in just the first movies of Andrew Garfield's movies or Tobey's movies. I wish we had seen it more in the first 2 movies, so I feel a bit more. I don't know. Nathan cried. Nathan cries at everything. Carson, did you cry at Aunt May's death the first time?
I teared up, man, and
I didn't.
I wasn't.
Let it be known, I cried every scream.
How do you have no? Oh man, it doesn't get dry once in a while.
Well, I mean, you reset every like 3
And
minutes.
part of me, because like she was like got up and was like fine. I'm like, oh, they're not killing her. Like, no way. Like,
they do a really good job at that.
Yeah,
like playing it up, because like she gets up and she's like, even like after a second, she's like, oh no, I'm good. But then
I'm like, oh, does she have internal bleeding? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, and then damn, just this switch goes off.
I don't know if she's gonna die, because when the glider went, she didn't go, oh.
I thought when the glider got her, I thought it would like impale her against the wall, but I think that was too dark for this movie. So crazy.
To a point, also, it was interesting to experience this film, because I had described it. Me and Trey have described it in the sense of like watching a book adaptation, because we knew too much. But honestly, like when you just like watch the flow of stuff, like it doesn't like really like the first screening I watched, I was taking everything like a step at a time, because I think it was just hitting me at like a different perspective, because I didn't know how the execution was going to go of things. Like I remember like we were talking about like reports like way back when we were like, Peter gets like tricked by the villains and they get released, and we were like, we don't want this shit.
Yeah, I was gonna be pissed. I was like, I don't like that rumor. I was like, how does Peter's such a smart guy. Why does he fall for the villains like that?
It was like for the 3rd time. God damn it.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm actually really happy with that MacGuffin and how it's used as towards the character, and it becomes like this meta thing of like Spider-Man always doing the good deed and saving for the better, and it becomes like it's orchestrating thing where you get into that apartment, man. He's like working, he's like working with Norman and Ock, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is like insane, but it's so like Peter Parker, and like he's so optimistic. And
what's really weird is like Marvel and Sony have like renegotiated, but like watching this film feels like it's the movie they were planning to make for the exit of the character.
I know it would have worked, yeah.
and at the same time, I'm sitting here like, shit, I'm satisfied.
But yeah, for me, I forget what I was gonna say now. But yeah, for him, for Peter's journey here, I actually liked his decision that he made, because in the trailer, the very first trailer we got from this for No Way Home, I was like, Peter wants to save the villains. I'm like, what's going on here? But it really worked. It really worked. I didn't expect it to have that kind of emotional like meaning to it as much as it does. Because when the other Peter start talking to him about it, when Aunt May hounds him about it, I'm like, okay, this is making more sense. Because even during the movie, I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm with Doctor Strange, send them back, it's over, right? But then it's like, especially because I think I said this during the first watch through of the trailer, I'm like, what is his plan? Like, what is his plan for the villains going to be? If his plan is something stupid, then whatever. But his plan ends up being very cool.
And it's cool because like he really doesn't have a plan, but he's so hopeful that he
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. And the cool thing is, like, people are bringing up, are like, oh, what about Sandman and Lizard? It's like he doesn't even ask because he's so. He just assumes that they're all have the same fate, and he wants to help. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, even at a point, he only says like some of these guys, and that's enough.
yeah, exactly.
But there is like a lot of like through lines that like bring a lot of emotional beats. So and continuing with the point, so Peter, he gets home. His home is surrounded with press and stuff. Jonah's reporting in his fucking basement. I don't know, but then he has a real studio.
John Watts stepped it up. I'm liking this
Yeah.
one take in the apartment. It's pretty cool as they're all running around.
It's pretty cool.
I was like, oh, nice one, John. You're growing up a little bit. I like it. It's really the coming of age of John Watts.
Carson gets his borderline Spidey sex as a joke, but
yeah, dude, I like that. It's funny.
God damn it.
It was a funny gag.
My audience does like lose it every time.
Very funny.
But yeah, Peter's taken into for a question. Well, not question. He's literally arrested.
But the guy from Succession.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's the what's his name, Stewie on Succession, and he's great. He's great.
But yeah, he's like trying to just ask Nick Fury. He's like, Nick Fury's been off world for years. He's like, what? Yeah, Talos, get your fucking ass over here, man.
I feel like he's been in fucking space forever now. It's just 2019 since that was revealed, right? With Captain Marvel.
Right, but was that really?
Or wait, was that in Far From Home or Captain Marvel? Where
it was in Far From Home.
Far From Home.
It was the second end credit scene.
Oh, which is also 2019. So yes.
Yeah. But it's like, goddamn, if Damage Control is aware of Nick Fury's setup, then why don't they fucking? It's fine. It really doesn't matter. Like logistics, I don't give a shit because we got the emotion.
It's weird. Like, how many people is Sam telling that he's in space? Like, what's going on here?
Well, but we tricking Peter.
Just tell everybody I'm in space. Like, okay, shouldn't it be a secret? But okay.
But then everyone's being brought in, and like it's coming after like his friends, and like MJ is just like on Peter's side the whole time. Ned, damn it,
Ned sucks.
So you're telling me you're an accomplice of this whole thing?
Like, oh shit. I like have my words stricken from the record. Which every time I hit that point in the movie, I'm like, oh shit, he's coming. Yeah, then they go to May, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, because they were just like, you endangered a child. I was like, oh fuck,
dude, which was like really
heavy
because of a certain trial that's going on right now. I don't know if you guys are caught up in the news of like that. Well, there was a school shooting the other week, and the parents ended up getting arrested for buying this gun and like all these things. And I was like,
the internet stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
And they didn't like.
They didn't
the school like warned them multiple times, and they didn't and it was like this whole deal. Yeah. So I was like, I started like freaking out because I'm like, dang, is May complicit? What is she doing?
But even then, I'm like, F off, like, but child endangerment. I was like, this guy is not a child. He can lift 5 tons.
He's been to space and he fought.
Certified Avenger, motherfucker.
Exactly. He's not just a child anymore.
I mean, there's no like legal. I mean, fucking Falcon can't get a loan. Like, what is this world?
Yeah, dude.
But
Wanda's still driving like a weird car.
A Nissan Altima or some shit.
Tragic.
Hey man, Iron Man's driving all those Audis, but which I was actually like surprised when I was watching this movie. I was like, "There's different cars on this bridge." It wasn't like one, even though there was a car commercial that came out. Anyway, yeah, Stark Industries is also like caught up in all this, and Happy's kind of under investigation because he's the security.
Yeah, they're like something got stolen. They don't know what yet, but it's like something got stolen from Stark Industries, and
it's the drones, really. They're the missing Stark.
I like to about like the Stark thing, the fabricator.
No, I think that was more in like personal use of like Tony stuff, but like in terms of like Stark Industries itself, the drones are not only missing like the ones they had ones that were recovered, but also they showed like the one dude like stealing some away, so it is still actively missing.
Okay, I thought because like when Matt starts talking to Happy. He's like, but you're still under there because you might have got something. And that's when Happy... Because doesn't Peter say, like, oh, God dang it, Happy, when he sees a fabricator in his room?
Well, he's like, oh, Happy. I think because the jet that they built the stuff off of blew up. But Happy still had the fabricator. I don't know if it's a different one. But it's like... Peter's trying to clean off his suit because the green paint got thrown on it. Which was initially, like, the whole actual scene of that was cut. So they, like... chopped it down because me and Trey were both actively like when we heard it got cut, we were like, how are they gonna explain the fucking suit change? Just a quick video montage worked.
Yeah. Most of the suits in this movie are interesting. It's like both of the suits, they didn't get marketed too heavily, but like we saw them coming, and most of them are just like cosmetic things. Like it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it's really
like, it didn't serve any function at all. Besides just like it's just like
sell toys
inside out, and
which
toys,
finally
basically.
I think makes the payoff of the end so much better because it has so much meaning that he actually has a new suit.
Yeah, that's not the only suit that actually has meaning. Yeah,
yeah.
I love that new suit. We'll talk about it for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Peter's just like, how is this happening? And then, boom, fucking Kane, and the audience just
crowd
like
goes crazy.
Oh!
It's been after like
fucking Foggy is played by Jon Favreau.
I know, yeah. When they were having that interaction, I'm like, are they giving Happy some lines here just so they can like tease like the whole Foggy Nelson dynamic, the multiverse thing? But yeah, it was crowd goes crazy every time, and
as someone who's just finally finished Daredevil.
Good job, Carson. I mean, Nathan.
Hey, I'm watching The Witcher right now. Leave me alone.
That'll be there.
So Daredevil. And by the time I get around to it, they'll be making season 4 or whatever he's gonna be.
Watch them take it off, and we gotta wait like a fucking year for Disney Plus stuff.
I'd love them to just take it off. That'd be funny as hell.
No. But yeah, with the way it ends, I was just like, man, what could have been? And now what can be? Like,
yeah,
he's here.
It was a great scene. Lawyer Daredevil, as we all thought, like we're not going to see him in the suit.
Which I didn't. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't think it was going to be so short though, because he does a thing and he catches the break, which is hilarious. I mean, they kind of laugh it off. They kind of laugh it off the MCU joke, like, like I'm like, hold on, how do you do that? Seriously, I'm not leaving this table until you tell me. No. But, it was a very
blind motherfucker caught that.
I really like that line.
It's really good. I think I'd heard they maybe cut like another scene or two that they had with Matt, like probably some court proceeding or something.
I figured. Yeah, I'm so glad. I don't know. I don't know if I'm glad or not glad they did not have the court thing. I guess prior to the multiverse, I figured like, oh, this movie's gonna be very much about like stuff like his identity stuff. And I was really excited for that. But once I started to realize, okay, this could be a multiverse heavy thing, I'm like, you probably don't need the court scenes as much. It's not really relevant. We can probably just sum it up in a dinner scene or table scene, like they do in the movie, which is nice.
It is funny because like when I'm looking at like every individual like scene that I wrote down, which is basically every scene, I'm not looking. I don't see any of them where I'm just like, you could have like cut a moment to have a different moment. I really feel like everything like plays very well with each other.
It could have cut the Scooby-Doo shit.
Okay, well, they had to bring him in. All right, hold on, we'll get there.
Get there.
But
like the one thing, yeah.
But yeah, Peter's trying to clean his suit and he finds a fabricator, and then he's having that sweet FaceTime with MJ, discussing about the identity reveal and stuff.
They had some great connection there.
Indeed.
And finally, I mentioned that Peter is broke. Love that.
Yeah, famous person in the world, which probably true for Tom Holland. Hey, it's broke. But yeah, they had like really cute stuff. You're just like, what else do you like about me? Oh, I love how optimistic you are. Oh yeah, I'm glass half full kind of girl.
Yeah,
I love people so much.
Yeah, sports. Yeah,
I think the Mets are gonna go all the way.
Which I really did like how MJ's like because in Homecoming, like she's just kind of like that whole vibe kind of turned up to 10.
The outsider.
But now it feels like we know her enough that it like makes sense in her character. If that makes like
it totally works. I feel like you're right.
We got to know her.
We got to know where we're like the audience is like Peter Parker, where the more Peter got to know her, the more she's showing the audience. She's getting closer to Peter as well, which was nice. Yeah, this is easily the best MJ we've seen.
100%.
Because again, that's the kind of stuff I loved in Far From Home, but it was like 5-10% of the movie. Yeah, I wanted a lot more. We got it here.
Her last name is actually Watson, but she doesn't go by it, which I found interesting.
Yeah, that was really interesting. Yeah.
Doesn't like her parents, probably.
Yeah, and the parents don't like Peter. Like, not anymore. That was a funny scene when they're swinging.
That was a good one. Fucking Rogers the musical billboards.
Yeah, we should go see the musical, MJ.
Well, it's Christmas time now.
Yeah, they can't now. They don't know each other. Oof.
But I do want to mention, there's a couple things in this first act that I don't like, and
Okay,
It
yeah,
is the happy stuff right after this scene. I'm like, I could leave it.
Oh, I
Oh,
heard
the,
the whole
He's
the,
in the
time
the fucking
before.
background.
mask thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can understand. I think it.
Yeah, it's so MCU, right? Where it's like
Yep.
you have an emotional moment and then boom.
And
Like, I heard
the
this
one that
Raimi would
really,
never.
the one that really frustrated me was Flash coming into the restaurant and being like,
Dude.
"Oh, I'm in MIT." Ha ha ha. I'm like, "Let this moment sit, you fuckers."
That didn't affect me the first time I kind of laughed. The second time I'm like, man, this scene is really like it's
really
so
hitting.
depressing.
I'm like,
yeah, it's so depressing. Then Flash comes in, boom, boom. I'm like, delete.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
So why it works for me? No, I mean, I thought it was fine because like even like after he comes in, like we all have like with the friend group like the vindication of like you fucking idiot, like because they're all just staring at him like get out, and he does, and then they proceed with their like god damn it. But you know what? Whatever. I wouldn't change it. What I did, I really wouldn't. We love you, Peter.
I do love that.
That's so good.
I do. It just goes like I do not like the Flash Thompson in this universe. I love the actor. What's his name?
Tony Ravioli.
Tony Ravioli.
Ravioli.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Tony. I love you.
Give me the formioli.
I know. And about meme number 3 in this podcast, 30 minutes in. But
no, boy.
Number 4. But I don't like Flash in this universe. He is useless in this MCU. I wish they'd done more from him. I'm with Carson. I don't like it. I feel like you could still have that that scene of them being like, but you know what, Peter, fuck it. Like I'm glad about the decisions I made to be your friend. Like I don't care what happens or what happened. But it does, I guess, point of the joke also, it makes it hurt more. And a guy like it makes it hurt more, even though it's supposed to be a joke.
This guy got in, but our minds are
exactly arguably the three smartest people in the school, or at least that Peter knows.
Pull up Ben's comment.
What we got here? Not a pause.
Sorry, Tony. I mean, he has. Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, because it was like it was the happy thing, the scene we just said, and then the Scooby Doo thing. It was like all back to back or around the same time.
I will say, I like the Scooby Doo the shit delivery more than the trailer cut.
Yeah, it was more aired out a little bit
because they say shit, not crap. That works. Yeah.
Also, in the context of the film, I actually get what Strange is saying because he's like fucking investigate. Mystery Inc. Like he's not just like fight people like Scooby Doo does. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I want you to find these villains, investigate where they are around the world. Conveniently, they're all in New York.
And I do like that MJ like calls him out. Like technically, this is your spell. Like you are the adult here that like helped Peter. Technically, like
but yeah, I think with Carson, like I like up to this point, I liked most of it. Besides. Because I think this is like towards the end of the first act. But yeah, I in general liked a lot about this first act. It's tense. It's funny. Yeah. It seems way more homecoming-ish. Even though, of course, like it's he's running away from his identity and stuff like that. But it feels more laid back and tense and funny. It doesn't get super emotional until like they get neglected from MIT and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and it really kicks it in high gear once the spell. Because once we get to that sanctum, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here 100%. We go.
So to that point, Peter does go to Doctor Strange's sanctum, and it's all snowy, and we're like, why? And I'm still laughing at what Carson said. Kelly thought.
What happened?
Well, because
sit on there. Did somebody get caught out on there? We know we don't have to do it.
Anyways, well, I will say because it's funny.
Okay.
Because Kelly watches the Marvel movies, but he's not like a Nathan in any sense of the word. Like, she's not like, oh, blah blah blah.
Let's go 10 times.
So, anyways, we had last seen Shang-Chi and Katie in the sanctum, right, in the post-credit scene.
Sure.
And the door's open, and you just see it far away. You see a guy and a girl, and she's like, "Oh, is that Katie and Shang-Chi?" And like, obviously, not even close.
And we're laughing because these actors that are on screen are Asian. but they're not Simu
So
and
it
Aquafina.
turned out to be inadvertently really awkward and funny because I'm like, no, that's not them. And she's like, oh, because she's like whispering to me, and she turned to me during the wide shot, and then when she turned back, it cut to like them actually like doing, like raking the snow, and I'm like, oh no.
Not to that point. It would have been funny if it was them. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, come with us, like part of the team, shoveling fucking snow. Like,
Yeah.
but
we've been shoveling for 20 days.
Right. But it is interesting that the reason the sanctum is like that is because one of the like gateway windows was left open from I think Siberia, and a blizzard blew in, and I was like, oh shit, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
And it was so weird, like the concept of they have monthly maintenance spells like to like check. And it's also revealed in this point that currently Wong is actually the Sorcerer Supreme on a technicality that Strange blipped for 5 years. So in that time, someone had to step up to protect, and it was Wong. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. There are certain things in this movie where I can't tell if they're just jokes or teasing us for the future. Like this whole Wong is Sorcerer Supreme thing. I'm like, is that going to be relevant at all in Doctor Strange 2? Or is it just going to be like another line? I don't think so either.
I think it's more of an inside baseball joke between them. Like, I was the Sorcerer Supreme. Like,
right?
I mean, Wong's always been like the straight man to Strange anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Wong says in this movie, but it's kind of like implied still that Strange is far more powerful than Wong, even without the title.
It's never discussed. Wong has higher duties. But
yeah,
that's the extent. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. But yeah, so like they're bringing there, and then Peter is trying to ask, Strange, like we see in the trailer, like if they can go back in time, if Strange could go back in time, make it so like he never did. But then he explains, Peter, that's too dangerous. But also, even if I wanted to, I don't have the time stone anymore. So okay, goddamn it, the necklace is just an accessory. Fucking shut up.
Okay, quick tangent on the. Did you notice that he had the necklace on either in the mirror dimension or in the astral projection? I can't remember. He has the necklace on at one point.
Yeah, he's wearing it like pretty much throughout. It's I get an accessory, I guess. Maybe something new.
Oh, I thought he didn't have it on, or maybe it was under the sweatshirt. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the scene when he's asking, it's just normal clothes and a sweatshirt. He just
you're right. Okay, that's why I was confused because
yeah. But also it was like a really like nice little moment because Peter is just like, right, okay, I'm sorry for wasting your time. And Strange is also like having empathy in the moment because he's like, no, you didn't. And like I seen his face, and I'm like, God damn it, it's so good.
Yep.
But then Wong, is about to take off too, and then Strange's like, hold up. The runes of Kafkal I've learned these fucking names when I shouldn't have. With all these names.
That's one of the only things I actually do remember, the runes of Kafkal. I don't
the cube.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, the Kafkal is pretty cool. Yeah. The box thing is like Majar Dark or whatever.
The Mechanic Davis.
Yeah, sure. It starts with an M.
It was by like screening 6 that I was like,
that's the pronunciation. Yeah. Let's get into the spell quick because I personally don't care about all the technicality. Like, oh, what if he said this? But someone brought something up that I thought I just wanted to pick your guys' brain on. Like,
okay.
I saw 2 theories. Why couldn't have Peter said make people forget Spider-Man? Number 1.
Ooh, isn't that worse?
Or make
Peter's
people,
the murderer.
Or make people forget who Mysterio was altogether.
I mean, maybe, but
make you forget who Mysterio was.
All I really view it as is just like the panic, quick thinking of a child.
I was
and I'm totally on board. I was just finding the other people saying this, and I was just like, I mean, if you want to do that, like
anytime I hear stuff like that, I see it as
I'm on the side of emotion too, but like, I was just wanted to...
whenever someone does that, I just see it as like, well, okay, you're just nitpicking to like get like the most logistical thing out of a film, which isn't the best thing for a film, really.
Right. Like I was just watching a video recently on like Naruto plot holes, and somebody had the same thing where it's just like, it's not a plot hole, it's a character thinking emotionally.
Yeah. Like so a character can make a mistake and not make the best logical decision.
Exactly. And that's not a plot hole. Yeah. I was watching something just recently. I'm just like, yeah, exactly.
Also, when the spell begins, like initially Peter knows what he wants out of it, and so Strange is like, yeah, I got you. And so when they start, Strange starts and he's like, nice knowing you, and he's like, wait, hold on. So he doesn't fully understand. Wait, everyone, hold on, wait. Does that mean MJ is gonna forget? Strange's like, all right, I got you.
We pulled down MJ. Yeah.
And Ned fucks a Ned. Like,
that was great.
Fucking all right, fine. Wait, my mate Peter, stop it. And he does it anyway. And he's like, happy? No, I'm annoyed.
It gets funny and then it gets really real. And I like that shift in the scene.
It does. Like, yeah, of course, it has like the spectacle thing. And there's like one glimpse of like a figure from a dimension that we see more so in the finale. But then like when it does get shut down, he stops him, just be like, you changed my spell. You don't do that. And he's angry. Call me sir. But then
the whole scene is really powerful.
Yeah, because Peter's like, all right, I'm sorry. And even Strange takes a second to be like, with how much we've been through, I keep forgetting you're just a kid.
That was a really good line.
It's an important line because that sums up like his journey throughout this movie and throughout this whole trilogy. It's like he's always just been a kid. He hasn't
came of age yet, really. I mean, what, he's 17 in this movie? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Unless his birthday's early. When's his birthday?
When is Peter Parker's birthday?
August something? I think like canonically, like on his ID from Far From Home, it's the publication date of Amazing Fantasy 15 in August.
So he'll be so late, so he won't turn 18 until right before he goes to college, technically.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And then Strange calls out Peter's like, hold up, pause. You didn't call to plead your case, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Can you do that?
Yeah. You can do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
I thought the letter was the nail in the coffin.
I never needed to, but it's just like
you can definitely do that.
As a graduate, I've
never finished school. Nathan, how does the process work? You tell us.
Look, I'm Peter Parker with that GED book.
That was surprising too at the end.
But so he gets kicked out, and then Peter calls.
Real quick, I made a joke about it, but like when Strange says like you messed up my spell 5 times, and Peter says 6. Is that why
Strange said 6? Peter said 5.
Peter said 5. Yeah, thanks 10 times. But
I am the screenplay.
A Jiminy Cricket. But is that why we see 5 villains? Or is that just a coincidence?
Well, no, I don't think that's a real indication because you have to also count the factor of Tobey and Andrew also bled through.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But
so that's 7.
I was also counting. I was like, what's each time the spell altered? But it's like from like the start and then the next one. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's funny during the spell. He was like, I don't want my Aunt May to forget because it was such a hassle the first time. I was like, was it? We didn't see it on screen.
No, we didn't. Yeah, and I get it. but we're here.
I know.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
What?
We didn't even get that like argument or anything.
We talked about this in Far From Home, where like they say like, "What the fuck?" Credits, and then
it's the opening. Like, they were like,
"High five, yeah,
Peter,
how's it going?" Yeah.
Oh my god, it cuts right to the opening of that like gala thing.
Which goes into the underdevelopment about May.
I think we had discussed before. We wish we got like
that is such a big
like the
switch.
Sally Field worried Aunt May type in that situation.
100%.
That's crazy. Why am I?
Carson unlocked a new reason to dislike. No, I thought I made progress.
Oh god.
I thought you were talking about Ben's comment or something. I'm like, yeah, his birthday is August 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was like, do you know someone who has that word?
That's my birthday.
Oh my god, we adopted our dog on that day. But then Peter goes to call Flash to get info on the MIT lady, and then as soon as I'm seeing him, first off he glides in the Iron Spider, which was revealed in the fucking TV spot. But I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
He was the Iron Spider.
Like the wing flaps. It has that ability too.
And I love the detail that all the tech is offline because doesn't have access to any of the Stark systems anymore, which is kind of a funny.
It's like we're chiseling him like one by one. But yeah, as soon as we all know like once he's at the bridge, we're like, oh shit.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's the bridge.
And then he goes to plead the case with the lady at the window, and it's just a very awkward scene, but also
So
heart's
good.
in the right place. And
Let
then
me ask you guys real quick though. When Peter first lands on the bridge, does a
Mhm.
part of you think like, wait, the spell actually did work? Like when the helicopter flies by, like it kind of goes past him, and Peter's like, oh yeah, like I'm still here or something like that. Part of me is thinking, I was like, wait, maybe the spell actually did work, and that's why we see like
Mm,
Doc Ock show up. But then of course, like one of the baby yells like Peter Parker or something
Yeah.
like that.
not at all, boy. Because Mr. Tenda, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm the embodiment of actually. I'm so sorry. But no, I didn't, because like it felt like the helicopter was definitely like lingering to like Wade, like to like focus
towards
on Peter.
Peter, yeah.
And then I also heard the baby was like, it's Peter Parker. And like, even like the sister in the car, like you're focused on Peter, but like right in the corner, she's like, the fuck, it's Peter. She's
Yeah.
in the window. It's funny. But yeah, then he goes to like plead the case, and then the whole use visually of the spider sense, because it wasn't really until the end of Far From Home that he properly honed it, and now we're
Mhm.
seeing that. It's not just like hair standing up; it's like we're in
Dolly
it.
zooms, baby.
It's really cool.
Wasn't there a time when people thought like Peter didn't have spider sense? What was that
For a
argument from? Civil War or something like that?
I think.
Can't remember.
Well, it was funny because every time they did that, I was like, Did you not see his fucking eyes widen when fucking someone threw something on his head?" But yeah, I mean, I guess it's never been like as intensely shown as like Tobey and Andrew, so it was just like that's why like in the Infinity War trailer when his hair stand up, everyone's like, "Whoa!"
Confirmed.
It's confirmed, yeah. But then, yeah, the bridge is starting to like deconstruct. Peter hops on the car, telling everybody to like get out, and fucking the tentacles are coming, and my audience are just like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, audience goes crazy.
It's so great because there's been like some audiences had where they're like, "Whoa!" at the arms, and then when the smoke unveils Alfred Molina, they're once again like, "Yeah!" It's so fun. And it's really cool, like their dialogue that they're having, because again, there actually are confirmed all these people are taken from sections of the existing movies. So he's like, "What have you done with my machine? Power Sun, palm of my hand. Where is it?" And I'm like, "Fucking, let's go."
On my hand, I'm like, really? They had it the whole line.
You have to, right? And he's like, "Do I know you?" He's like, "You want to play games?" Because he thinks it's Tobey, and this is the whole perspective is funny. And it was a great sequence, I think. I mean, granted, by this point, I pretty much saw the whole damn thing in TV spots, but
I love his line of nanotechnology. I underestimated you, Parker.
you've outdone yourself. and
And
I also had some points in like my audience where they were like, "Oh," because it's linked with the arms.
Yeah.
I was freaking out.
yeah, I still love the.
Oh god, it turns into comedy too. I forget because he takes control of it, and
Which
he's
I thought was a
so
neat,
cool.
a neat thing, like the pairing of the device. Some people were just like, "Oh, what?"
It was like
Yeah.
Bluetooth hack. Let's go.
Right? 2004, bitch.
And I like how much of a kid Peter sounds like when he discovers
Yeah.
that he can do it. He's like, okay, yeah, okay, let's go.
He's like,
Yeah. It's like he's playing like a Star Wars action figure. He's like, oh, we're gonna go to the Battle of Hoth, and we'll just go up here. And
fucking
like,
poor Otto. He's just he can't reach.
it's really funny.
Yeah. Also, props to Peter. First time fighting Doc Ock, and he did pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
Even before the getting taken by Doc Ock.
Yeah.
But he did pretty well for himself. Yeah.
It was also like a cool bit when like he got like thrown through one of the street signs, like above the highway, and then into like a big truck, and Aka's like, "Should kill your little girlfriend when I had the chance," and just the fucking like legs come out, and he just rises.
Yeah. And
He's like, what did you just say?
it looks like we
It's
got
like, we got
competition.
competition.
That delivery is still so good. I saw that in the TV spot. I'm like, I love that.
It's
New
so good.
competition.
And yeah, their combat is just really good. The way like Peter was like, he was like constrained. He was about to get like decapitated by the fucking helicopter.
Mhm.
But Peter, like at the end, he was webbed up a couple cars to knock into Ock.
Yeah, dude, I love the tension of like trying to save the MIT lady, and I love the little aftermath of that. When she's like, "You are a hero," like, and I was like, "Damn, that hits too." Of like people really seeing who he is.
And I love the point where he's like she's like, "I'm gonna talk to MIT about your friends, and I'm talking about you." And even like at first, he's like, "No, wait, this isn't about me." And she's like, "No, I'm gonna talk to him about you, and it's just like hell yeah, man, the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always thinking
and
about
then
other
we don't
people
even get a
before
break.
himself.
We don't even get a break because we just hear. Do we hear the laughter? Or the
Okay,
pumping
so
laughter?
what you first hear is first Peter Spider-Sense kicks in again while Ock is
Yeah.
wrapped up in his arm, and you just like the audio cuts off, and you just hear the ting ting of the bomb drop.
Yeah.
And it cuts to it, and my audience is freaking out.
Goes crazy again, yeah.
and then it's the smoke, and then he's there, and the audience goes crazy again.
Oh my
And-
god!
And then it's zooming in.
And it gets portaled.
And then,
Yeah.
he gets portaled. And I had a couple screenings where people were like, "What? I want my money back." It's so funny.
Yeah.
But
You just hear
so,
that laughter and people go crazy.
oh, it's so good. But yeah, now he's in the crypt, and he's like, "What's going on?" And you got like that little bit behind him, and I'm just like, "Here we go." The fucking lizard. It's like, "Oh shit, Ock's there." Like this is fucking House of Horrors right now. Strange. Fucking screams.
That was a good scream.
And then this is when Strange begins to explain when you botch the spell to forget everybody's Peter Parker Spider-Man. It started pulling in everybody who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man from every universe. So that's why we specifically have these set villains.
That always confused me a little bit. Like, did Electro know Peter Parker?
I think through Harry, he knows Peter is Spider-Man, but he never
Okay.
saw his face, which is why we have the thing later.
Okay. Because I always wondered, like, both times, I'm like,
Yeah.
when did Electro? I love Amazing Spider-Man.
And
2. I've seen the
someone
movie a
said
lot.
that. Someone
but I
said
don't-
in the fight. I guess we should have caught this. We just watched this. That Gwen calls Peter with Electro right there. Like,
yes, Peter. Yeah, when they're fighting at the power plant.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Haha.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a fucking writer on this movie at this point.
literally.
Nathan's the Infinity War writers arguing with the
So
the
time
Endgame
travel.
writers.
I'm so mad because they wrote the rules and then forgot their rules. Anyway,
Good
so it's interesting at that point. Peter's just like, but college, and Strange like, shut up. and it's a cool little detail because Peter has this belt clip that he stores the Iron Spider, and Strange pulls it like through his body to go to that
So
specific
cool.
part of the armor to the gauntlet web shooter that he then pulls off onto his arm, enchants it, and then demonstrates the power, and it's fucking cool.
Why do you guys think they kept showing Doc Ock's? They kept zooming in on Doc Ock saying like his arms are offline or something like that.
I think
because the payoff is just like there was no payoff for that.
Well, maybe that's a sign of the
mean-
misdirect that maybe he'll break out again because
Right. Yeah. It was just kind of like reminding them that.
just like a reminder to the audience of like why he's not
Okay.
actively fighting, because Peter has him on lockdown.
And I guess technically doesn't Norman rip off the chip? I can't remember, or he doesn't get it off.
I'll get there.
Okay.
But okay, so he starts sending him on this mission, and then Peter's like, "I understand my mess, and I promise I'm gonna fix it, but I'm gonna need some help." Which sounds like a trail line that you're setting up for Tobey and Andrew, and it's like, haha, it's Ned.
Yeah. They play the Peter Parker music from Civil War.
Queens.
I would have loved it. They just went Queens. Like, we're already in Queens. Fuck it. Show Queens.
This Queens 02, Queens 12,
Queens Block 12.
Queens, Earth 616. Like,
Queens
That'd be great.
2012, 2014.
8 years later, no, not again.
Oh fuck!
too good.
I need to catch my fucking breath. But okay, so yeah,
Squad.
funny line was when Ned was just like, "How'd you find you were magic?" Because I feel like I get these like tingles in my fingers, and Strange is like, "Talk to your physician."
That was great.
It's good stuff. But yeah, then they go to work in the Undercroft where it's just a fucking basement. There's laundry going.
What is MJ say later on? It's like witch's dungeon. Like, I can't sugarcoat it. more than
Yeah,
that.
Wizard's
Yeah.
Dungeon. And it's funny because like this is like we were looking at like the photos, like our first photos, and I remember everybody was like, "What's that shadow of the head?" It's fucking Ned's head in the lighting. Oh, it's so funny.
It's Toby's head.
Even though they are looking up at Strange, it's Ned's head.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they start getting to work. Peter's like updating the situation. Otto's like, "Hey, what the hell are these two?" Like, everything's just like, what the hell's going
It's like,
on?
why are you so mad? You calm down.
He's
Two
so
kids
mad.
walks in. Who the hell are those?
Also funny that Peter describes Norman as a flying green elf. That was funny. Which at that point that's literally the term they're trying to find. I'm pretty sure they're scrolling TikTok and one person is cosplayed. I'm pretty sure is an elf from Onward.
That was funny. Yeah, they were just like looking for leads on social media.
Yeah. Which eventually they did catch on. There was like somebody flying near a power plant, and in my brain I'm like, it's probably Electro. But my audience isn't really. And then that's when Otto starts like talking like, there's no way it can't be him. Norman Osborn died years ago. So either that was somebody else or you're flying in the darkness to fight ghosts. And that's the first indication of like, hey, what's up with these villains? What's gonna happen to them? And everything's like a weird perspective because they're all pulled from different times.
Yeah, you can see Peter just like jumps at it. He's like, wait, whoa, I didn't know I was doing this.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting. So then also while he's trying to scrub out the paint, doesn't have time for May to go and clean it. That's when he turns it inside out. And then tapes and then MJ to his chest on FaceTime, and he's going to swing by. And as soon as they cut to the power grid, I'm like, aha, Electro time. But also it's cool because then as soon as he lands, like we're like panning through different trees, and there's like this little mound.
I think
we
see Sandman first.
And every time people are like, oh.
Yeah, my Thursday crowd went wild at that because we're like, oh, it's Sandman! Like even before we see his body, we just see all the lump of dirt.
It's so good. And then he's going still in the background, like out of focus. I'm like, hell yeah,
yeah.
And then even like the start, like when Electro starts to appear, and like the shimmering effect, audience again just like, oh.
Yeah. I wanted them. Do they play the Electro? I hear a little bit of it, but I wanted to hear the dun, 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 like when he's fighting him in Times Square.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
That's my shit.
But I was okay. So first they had the build up of just like, what is this thing? Hey, hello, but he's not responding, and so he's just like, just web him. Goes right through him because he's still not solid energy yet. And then his eyes open. He's like, burr, burr. And I'm like, oh shit, it's the theme. I legit freaked out for a second. I was like, it's real.
Yeah, that's their first tease that they're going to use themes from different movies, right?
Well, Ox theme did appear.
Did it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ox has a theme.
Okay, see now that's you gotta study, but it's fun. I too. But yeah, so then he starts fighting Electro, and first he gets knocked down, and then there's like a big beam about to hit him, and there's boom, sand. It's Flint Marko in sand form, which is pretty cool. He's talking, and I guess like in terms of Lizard and Sandman, I don't think they had accessibility to get the actors right now.
I immediately could tell that. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be using CGI the whole time, but it worked.
No, yeah, it definitely worked, and I can even like explain away Sandman because like in most times when we're like following him, he's either a big sand cloud, so he's not going to be a solid form, or when we do follow him, like when he's like in the apartment and stuff, or when he's captured, he doesn't have enough sand to fill his full form, so he can't complete himself at the moment. So it's a nerd.
Ben said it in the comments recently. He said the multiple villain encounters were handled well. Like, yeah, all throughout the movie, I was nervous about this part because given the rumors that Nathan was talking about and the trailer, I was like, so villains get out into the multiverse, and Peter is now tasked to go find them. Like, is he going to go one by one to find these villains? It's going to be pretty weird. It might bog down the movie, but I like the way it went. It was like Electro. And then they all group up.
Lizard was already caught.
And I had the question too during the trailer. I'm like, is Doctor Strange, are we going to see him fighting these villains? Because I think one of the early rumors was like he has a box full of villains already or something like that.
So initially we thought like the prison was like they're in the box. It's not like the box is adjacent.
Yeah, and I'm like, is Doctor Strange going to be like, are we going to miss that? Are they going to show that? But it's Spider-Man's movie, so what's going to happen?
But we also have to like understand that like every fucking like note we got was like secondhand source of just like somebody probably got a glimpse and explained the best they could.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, like Ben said, everything worked out pretty well here. There was no like excess, like another battle. It was like, we had an Electro battle, we get a Goblin battle, and that's pretty much Anti-Cock, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and the fight was cool. So Jamie Foxx reappears, and honestly, again nerd filling in the gaps. I can explain away like why Electro has a new look than like what he was before, because he already had like the the gap in the teeth fixed like randomly, which was funny in Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I think it's like since he like has even more like harnessed energy seemingly in the MCU that he can make his physical form. So I think that's the form he turned into underneath his electric self. So when it did come complete, that is how he is.
I completely agree with that, Nathan. I think they explained
Yeah,
it
that's good.
pretty well because I think in the trailers, like okay, we knew even that first Instagram post, we knew he was going to look different. He admitted himself like, "Oh, I'm yellow this time," or
Yeah.
I'm not blue at least. He said.
He keeps saying in interviews too.
Yeah, and I'm like, they explained it pretty well. He was like, when I came into this universe, I felt a different energy, some different multiverse, different energy. And that's why it's like yellow, and that's why he looks different. I'm like, okay, that works for me. Made sense.
Poor Sandman the whole time is just like, what the hell
Yeah,
is
no.
this? What's going on here? This blue
Where's
guy.
my daughter?
Right. Like, did you kill him? Okay, so yeah, then we get seemingly everybody's zapped up except and that's so then all the villains, Lizard, Electro, Ock, and Sandman are all captured, and they're talking with MJ, Wizard's Dungeon, all that. And then
is this where Lizard speaks for the first time?
A little bit, yeah. He's like which I found interesting that like they brought up that like, hey, that's Curtis Connors. Connors and Ock are friends in the Raimi universe, so I'm intrigued that he didn't like interject anything.
That's interesting.
But it's fine.
But I like delivery. He was like, last time I saw you had a comb over.
I'll give you a real makeover. Let me guess, into a lizard? Exactly. It's so fun.
So over the top, but I love it.
So is this where we start to get some of the explanations, right?
No.
It isn't?
Next scene. This is when we now cut over to Norman hiding the glider talking to the mask. Coward.
Crowd goes crazy again.
As soon as they saw his face, it was like,
it's like, ah!
It is him. My last screening, at my 10th screening, I had like a really hyped dude in my row, like a few seats down. And at one point, when Ock is like, it can't be him, at some point, he was trying to piece this together because he was like, is it Harry? I'm like, he didn't wear that. Like,
yeah, bro. What movie are you watching?
I'm on screening 10. I'm just like, these tits are amusing. Literally. Like, I didn't mean it. But so then he, again, you forget, like, he has that dual personality. Norman isn't really in control. It's the Goblin that takes over, which is like the typical through line a lot of the time for Norman the Goblin in stories. I think even so in the animated series. But oh yeah,
I love this scene because we're right back into the thick of it with Norman's split personality. We see like him continuing to struggle with that, like even prior to his death when he's fighting Spider-Man in the graveyard, he's still struggling between that Norman and Goblin personality. So I'm glad, obviously they were going to keep it, but I didn't know how they were going to keep it in this movie. I didn't know, like, are they going to go full Goblin? Like Lizard's full Lizard right now. It's like, are they going to go full Goblin? But I like the split personality and it worked really well. I loved his performance in this movie.
It is interesting because I think even in like the first Tobey film, I feel like at that point, Goblin is 100% taken over because, even when he's like being Norman, like, I can never hurt you. He's summoning
at the dinner scene too, or the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. And I really think the only time Norman like shines through again in that movie is when he's already dead. And he's like, "Don't tell Harry." And so, we get to a point later in the film when it starts to take over again. So it's interesting. And also, in the scene when we first like see him again, and he crushes the mask. I'm bummed a little bit because I do genuinely like the mask. I know a lot of people don't.
What do you think about this moment though, like in terms of his character?
I think it's genuinely somebody who's like losing control and wants to be set free from it. I think he's legitimately like struggling, and so when he does go to the shelter, I think that is legitimately the good Norman. My
second time watching it, I was really like interested in Norman as a character because people were saying like, "Oh, this is my favorite MCU villain." Now I didn't really feel that in my first viewing, so in my second viewing, I liked him a little bit more. But
I think he's a very sympathetic villain for sure. Like,
he's a sympathetic villain, and he really he's a good foil to Parker's journey in this specific movie.
It's like the effect of like Kevin in Split. Like he's a vessel and he has no control.
Yeah, and I like the way they framed the scene. Feige, John Walsh, and big Spider-Man comic fans, like you automatically think of Spider-Man 2 or just the Spider-Man comic book in general, where he
leaving the mask behind.
Leaves his mask behind. In that sequence, at least
which is framed similarly to the Spider-Man No More.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in the movie Spider-Man 2, we see that as Peter saying like, I'm done being Spider-Man. I want to embrace Peter Parker more so. In this one, we see Norman be like, I'm done being Goblin. I want to embrace Norman. And that's exactly what he does. Like Nathan says, he goes to a feast.
And then he
starts being a scientist again.
And he has a pretty like emotional scene at feast. First off, he says when Peter gets there, and he's freaking out. Peter's like, "Oh my fucking god, amazing danger!" But he's just there, and Norman says, "I saw an ad for Spider-Man for this place, and I thought he could help me, but you're not him." So this is already post identity finding out. But also, he has like a really emotional dialogue when he's talking about how someone's living in my house. Oscorp doesn't exist. My son. Not around. Like he's so
distraught.
He's worried. Then he starts getting in a panic, trying to explain how he's like, someone takes over, I black out, I don't know where I am, now I'm here, I don't know what's happening, nothing makes sense.
And what's so complicated about Norman is when do you guys think he turned back to Goblin? Part of me thinks it was before the Happy's house. Like part of me thinks it was a long time going.
I don't, and I think they frame specifically the one moment when they do, which is when Otto is like, "How do you feel, Norman? Like you're about to no more Parker half, just you." And his pitch shifts. And he's like,
they zoom in on him,
just from the back, and then he turns around with like a friendly smile, but that's the cover.
That's what I love about Goblin, because you never really know. That's a good call though, Nathan.
And I do like that being changed, because I like the genuine moment of like, "Hey kid, if you ever need a job in another universe."
I love that moment so much.
I like that being Norman 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but what gets me is like what Goblin's like, because Goblin as an entity, like he remembers what he was going through during the May scene. That's why he says like May was trying to change you, Peter Parker, in terms of like being responsible for these villains that they were having, that conversation that they were having at feast, while Norman's like taking the bread or whatever.
Which I was like fuck eating donuts. But I think that is also like a really like nice moment between May and Peter, just like, you know, like
it's a crucial moment.
It's scene. You know, obviously it would like be the easiest thing to just like get rid of them out of his life, not have to worry. But like you have like an ability. It's the precursor to, you know, the mantra power responsibility of just like you have this this moment in front of you, and you have a chance to help them, and you know, if you can, you should. And you know, Peter's like at that point is still trying to like understand, just like, I really think it's just the best if we follow Strange, which is interesting because then that begins to lead, once we get to the next scene, when Norman and Peter are dropped off with the clean suit now, dropped off at Strange's house, and he walks in and they start conversing about how everybody died. Like Norman, like you're the walking corpse. Otto says, like, what do you mean? Like, you died. And he's like, you died? Well, no way. And then Sandman starts explaining, you were impaled by your glider, which I found interesting. That was news reported. I don't know the logistics of Norman's.
That was interesting.
MCU deaths are always, or just comic book deaths are always so fascinating, because I had the same thing with Endgame. I'm like, how do people know the complexities of what went down at the Avengers mansion in Endgame? Like, was there new reporters just like
Scott Lang's vlog?
People just watching that entire battle go down. Like, how did that happen?
It's like when you watch Civil War and then you're seeing the footage from like a street view.
At least the airport, because I'm like, it's a fucking airport, so at least there's somebody could see what's going on in a huge airport. Like the Avengers mansion is like secluded. At least I thought it was. That was always confusing to me. But even more so, the glider thing. I'm like, how did he know that? I was like, did Peter Parker take a picture afterwards from the Daily Bugle? I was like, hey, this guy got stabbed.
Because like the world can't know that Norman was the Goblin, because that would mean Harry knows, but he doesn't until into Spider-Man 2.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
So I guess, you know, I don't know, maybe Spider-Man gave a fucking statement to the Bugle. I don't know.
I like what Ben said there also too. The last one, like it was so creepy about Goblin that he is working subconsciously. It was like because he remembers like past conversations, even though Norman was in control. That's what I was just saying. I really like about that. Yeah,
really good. But yeah, Sandman started explaining, and then he also explained that Otto died with his machine, and fucking proved my fucking theory right. That the moment in the river he was pulled from was when he had Tobey by the throat. Before he could, clearly be swayed back to the good.
Swayed back.
yeah.
Which
He wasn't pulled from the river.
Well, he is in water.
Yeah, but he wasn't pulled like with the sun in his chest.
With the sun in his
No.
Sand.
I mean, water, Jason. Who gives?
I'm
sure Alfred himself is
Sam, man, did you say water?
I'm sure also Alfred recounting a fucking set story 17 years ago.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that gets interesting. Electro gives a point of view that we didn't, a bit that we didn't really know, is that after he was overcharged, he became part of the grid system, and he was basically going to be like fizzled out within it, like lose himself. He was going to die.
He got overpowered, right?
And it's interesting because Connors begins to ask, like, Max, do I die? You do not, sir. You get locked up and cured, frankly. But
yeah, you turn good, motherfucker. Yeah.
But none of them know that.
Right.
They don't fill that into him either. So, which is funny because even to a point later, he's like, "Stay here or die." It's not much of a choice, but it's like, motherfucker, you were never gonna die. But it's interesting. And then Sandman, he's chill. But again, as we said,
what about daughter?
Right. But then it's interesting because
he just wants to get home.
Yeah, he just wants to get home. And then Peter taking this in is just like, oh, wait, jeez. And then Strange comes here. And he's like, good, you found another one. Fucking gets Norman. He's like, Strange, wait, hold on. And even like seeing him locked up, Peter's like, it's okay. And then we get the breakdown of the cube. He was going to send him home.
And it gets emotional a little bit, like when Norman, like we know this guy is the sickest of them all. But when Norman gets like put into the chamber, he's like, Peter. Norman. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like
he's like, what's going on, Peter? And he yells for him twice, Peter.
And again, part of me is like, is that Goblin tricking Peter there? He's trying is that Norman really begging for Peter? Fuck.
I think every fucking time it's about to be like the end of Goblin, it's like
Goblin's like, yeah, wait, I don't want to die either.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, take it. And then Norman has to fucking face the fucking terror of morality by himself.
Yeah.
And so I think it genuinely is Norman in those moments. But then, Peter's like, Strange, wait, we can't send it back. Strange's like, why? But some of these guys are going to die. He's like, Parker, it's their fate. And he's like, come on, Strange, have a heart.
Which was, that hurt. I mean, Strange has a big heart.
What happened if he lost his heart instead of his hand?
But I like the line that Strange says after that, too, where he's like, their deaths mean infinitely more
in the grand calculus of the multiverse. Yeah,
I'm like, that's such a fascinating line, because then when that line doesn't get refuted, but when Peter heals them, that must also have a big implication, for the rest of the multiverse. So
I think it's also just like, I feel like Strange has stepped up to like I would never want to be the Source of Spring, because you really do have to make the fucking tough calls.
Never.
And I think he's like had a number of them, like having the fucking universe blip for 5 years. That is just like, it's just how it's gonna be. Like, I think he may be like semi numb to it now, especially since they're strangers to him. But Peter took some time with these people, and he's just like I can't.
They're not just a branch timeline to him, and then it's like, but for Strange, it's
he
like,
doesn't even
we're gonna have
on
5 branch timelines if you do.
And to that point, Strange also, he admits like the multiverse is something we have like such a little info on, that he's also not 100%. He has more info than Peter, which is interesting for Peter's perspective, because he has like nothing. He's going solely off of empathy.
The multiverse is real,
right? 616. No. But so that's when it gets interesting. He's just like, even Strange is for a second, it's just like, I'm sorry, kid. He genuinely has empathy for how Peter feels about different things, which
again, it just gets me even more excited to see Strange's like character arc in the next Doctor Strange movie. Like, he does have a heart. He does care about people. I don't see that in play in the next movie.
Hello.
Yeah, that was after the fact, right? Though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
much later. Which
Yeah.
I'll touch on that. But that's yeah. So Peters sees like Strange about to hit that button, and he like webs it. Also, there was another moment where Norman's like Peter, and like fuck, I feel bad. So yeah, he webs it. And he's like, don't. And he not only like takes it, but he fucking like shoots him with the web to trap him.
Yeah.
And Ned's like, "What are you doing?" And MJ's right on board. He's like,
Run!
Yeah, I love how she was like, "Wait." That was cool.
Great from Strange is like, "This is why I didn't have kids." And he can walk through that shit because he ain't limited by his enchantment. Sandman tries though, it doesn't. Peter gets out. There's so many great visuals. Hopping through the portal, getting sent right back. Goes to try to shoot the gauntlet again, but gets it removed completely. Which I found interesting because I was like on set, he didn't have that, so that was pure CG. So I'm like, damn, good job.
Yeah, Peter gets owned big time in this first initial scuffle.
Well, it's interesting because as soon as like he gets like caught by his own foot, and then rope Strange doing the rope effect is so cool every time.
I love it. Yeah,
he webs back and then knocks his astral form out. Peter's like, "Oh my god, I'm dead." it's a great
Spidey
moment.
sense is so cool on the body.
So cool. Yes, like you can see like the comic accurate squiggle Spidey sense in the verse of it. It's really cool. And then also to that point, it's interesting because the spider sense works as like an autopilot defense thing. So like when he is out of body, we also saw this in like the PS4 game one time when he was like falling through the burning building, where it was just like that last ditch moment where he like,
dude, I just played that level like 2 hours ago.
There you go.
That's crazy.
That's why Strange couldn't get the box from him. And how he was able to do that is because the spider sense actively working, which we are seeing it happen, is defense for Peter while he, reawakens and he swims back in. The whole visual is cool.
Yeah, that was crazy because I literally just played that Spider-Man level like 2 hours ago. I'm like, am I nearing the end of the game? It's a long game. Anyways,
I think you're about to hit the third act.
Well, wow, okay. Yeah, it's been a minute since I played the game too. But yeah, I love that scene because like he automatically like uses like his webs even though he's about to die. And yeah, I love the scene here with the spider sense. It was really cool visually. Yeah. Encyclopedia Nathan over here.
The sacrifice I do for you guys. But
poor wallet.
Right. But then Peter begins to swing off again. Strange throws the cape. Cool little imagery of Spidey with the cloak.
Yeah. Spider-Man what if?
There you go. But how do you break out of that? I'm trying to think.
Get his jacket off.
Okay, no, so that was the point where Strange turns the corner, fucking Liz People magazine.
I knew it.
Yeah, you got it. You're not racist this time. I'm sorry. And then I think Peter starts to like move away. And that's when Strange turns reality. So when Peter begins to like fall through the mirror, he like instantly pops back out of it, and we are in the mirror dimension. And he's literally flying through the city. Visuals are crazy. It's so cool.
This is where he's in control.
Yes. Yeah, he's flying through, fucking hits Peter with the damn train, still webs the cube back. I'm play by playing this, but it's great visual. And Peter's like, "What is this place? Mirror dimension where I'm in control." And he starts to bargain with Strange, like there has to be another way. And Strange begins breaking it down that like Peter, in the multiverse, there are infinite number of people that know Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and if that spell gets loose, they're all coming here.
Yeah, Peter should really work out that identity thing. How many villains know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man? I guess a lot.
In that most comic runs.
Yeah, I guess a lot. Yeah,
is that the pinnacle of the drama?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, oh well, yeah, he's in deep shit now.
Fuck, man, the Spider-Verse movie's gonna be insane. No wonder it's 2 parts.
God damn it.
No, but yeah, it's great. He's still trying to bargain. What if we change their fate? And Strange just ain't fucking hearing it. So he fucking eight trains, spin them around through the portal, constantly falling. Great imagery of like fighting with the cloak, and you see just like the infinite number of them through the holes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So, and then just the imagery of like Peter webbing himself from the top and bottom to hold them in place, trying to fight. Strange uses the rope thing, trying to pull the cloak back, and in doing so, pulls the mirror dimension together to shatter it. It's wild. Like just being in the Archimedean spiral is what Peter calls it.
Yeah.
Geometry. You can do geometry. He literally fucking beats Strange with fucking math, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's Peter.
That's one of the cool things. Like, we don't see that much science, math, smart Peter that much in these movies. Like, one of the first early times was him creating his webs in class, in chemistry class.
Yeah, which I love.
Which I loved that. But now we're seeing him actually use math more in his fights, which is really, really cool.
Which is so funny because, like, Andrew says later, like, yeah, he does make his own webbing. But when we were watching Amazing Spider-Man, that motherfucker was ordering web cartridges online. I was like, how?
Wait, doesn't Andrew make it like Amazing Spider-Man 1? Like,
no,
yeah,
like,
I thought there's
no,
a scene.
Well,
doesn't he like,
no, he's building the web shooter is what it is. But he's he
okay.
got the cartridge stuff from Oscorp because they have it like through like the spider research.
Yeah.
It was they had a demonstration video of like the tensile strength pulling a fucking plane. Nerd. But yeah, he beats Strange, locks him down, steals the sling ring so he can't leave. And he's like, "I'm sorry, sir, but I have to try."
Which it's kind of funny that Strange can't leave without a ring. Which I'm like, oh.
Well, it's funny because
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
It's funny because initially, like back when Doctor Strange came out, I was like, "Hold on, wait, he can't cast spells without the ring. That's not the comics." But I mean, added drama. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. When Peter comes back, like, I beat Doctor Strange. I'm like, did he just win? I'm like, how? Like, what just happened here? Like,
on a technicality of the ring,
Doctor Strange should be super powerful at this point. It would just surprise me that.
I think
got apprehended like this.
It's probably a thing where like he's once again underestimating a child.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like life or death. It wasn't like he was just trying to like capture the box. He wasn't trying to defeat Spider-Man.
This is also the third time he's like been annoyed by Peter, and he's just like, "All right, enough games, kid." But he's Spider-Man. So that's interesting. He hands Ned the ring, which is a plot point for later. And then he starts talking to the villains like, "Hey, I think I can help you guys. I'm something of a scientist myself."
Oh no!
Every screening,
does it get a pop every time? Really? Okay.
It does. It's so funny. Like, people are legit applauding a meme. It's so funny.
Nobody said anything. I should have gone again this weekend. Nobody said anything on that. Like,
it's the Regal, man. It's the Regal. Don't fuck with Regal.
Yeah, it was stale in there, man. Like,
stale like the pop.
I don't know what kind of audience brought those people there, but I shouldn't be saying shit. I literally live in the goddamn town, and I'm roasting right now. Like,
you gotta go to the.
Nobody laughed my second time with the "I'm something of a scientist." It was like a couple chuckles, but like
chuckles.
The first time, of course, the Thursday night, of course, people went like crazy. It's like, yeah.
Oh my god, that was like the Evan embodied a white nerd.
I'll try my best. Thank you very much. SNL hired me.
Holy shit, that's good. That's good.
Saturday night. Has Willem Dafoe been on SNL, yo?
Yeah, I think he has.
I gotta look that up. He needs to go back, man.
Hell yeah! Oh, God, everybody, it's so big.
He's definitely gonna be in 2022. He has.
Yeah, he needs.
I think so. So yeah, he starts breaking it down, convincing them, and yeah, he's gonna bring them to Happy's apartment. But first, he gives the box to MJ to like, okay, you don't hear from me, hit the button. It's like, okay, cool. Ned has a sling ring. They do the handshake, and they do the thing. And there's a little spark, and most people are just like, "Huh," like, "Oh, we don't know what the fuck this is gonna mean." I think I missed it.
Did you know? Was that in your rumors? Like, you knew how they were gonna appear? Ned.
There was a rumor that Ned is the reason Tobey and Andrew show up. However, that first, like, on my first screening, that handshake glitch, I missed it. So. Like, because it happened so fast. I think I blinked. Like, it's like fucking 3 frames of a spark. Like,
I missed it too. The first time I was like, "What just happened?" I think I blinked.
Yeah, but then like later when they're doing the scene and he's just like, and there's the spark. I'm like, I'm locked in. But anyway, we go to Happy's apartment.
Is he a Dumbledore? I'm sorry.
He's a hobgoblin.
I saw that trailer in front of the movies. I'm like, snooze.
I did too. I was like, God,
I refuse.
just put me in a sour mood, but here we go.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Wait, Nathan, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
You had to see Morbius 10 times. You saw that trailer 10 times?
I can tell you all 7 trailers I got. I got like a AMC Theaters movie TV spot Sing 2 promo.
Oh god.
It's fun. Then I got The King's Man, in a rated R movie.
If I had to see that trailer one more time, I swear to God.
Well, it was a new trailer that was.
Yeah, I got a new trailer as well.
It was like a narration trailer. So that was fine. So that was for an R-rated movie, and then they immediately followed up with Lightyear, which is probably G, and then they showed the Sonic trailer, probably PG, and then they showed the
Sonic.
Yeah, and then I got the Ambulance trailer.
Great trailer.
It is a great trailer. Too much shown.
They showed that. Yeah, they showed the whole movie. But yeah.
I've had multiple audience say like, "That's the whole movie."
That's the whole movie.
But also, again, that was rated R, and I'm like, these back and forths are funny.
Jake Gyllenhaal is so dead in that movie. He's so dead.
Oh, but why don't you help us?
Yeah, I'm bringing back home, brother.
I'm gonna get everybody home. We'll get to walk off into the sunset. I know all these trailers now. And then there's like 7 out of 10 times when my theater would go coming soon. It tells you coming soon in the brilliant colors and star sound at IMAX and AMC. And then the lights dim and everyone thinks like it's movie time and everyone's like woo, and then it goes the green band and they're like ah. And I'm like motherfucker, they said coming soon. But every time it's funny. And then I got.
Do you get the crypto shit?
No, I did. I've seen it now.
Thank
I saw it as a
goodness.
YouTube ad, but I never got it in theaters.
Every time I see the crypto thing, the audience is just like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "What is this for?" Yeah,
I don't even know.
Whoa, Ben, you got the Bell trailer? Oh, you're lucky, man.
What? What theater did you go to?
Not IMAX.
Man, I've only seen a Bell trailer on Twitter.
Yeah.
But then I got 3 IMAX trailers. I got oh fuck, what was the first one? Fuck.
Batman, Matrix.
Yes, I
got Batman.
I did not get Batman. I got Matrix, and I was like, slaps every time. And then followed by that, I got the Uncharted trailer.
Oh yeah, I also got that trailer.
All my audiences vibe with it.
Although I couldn't tell if it was
like
a different. I don't know if I got a new trailer or I was misremembering. I might have omitted the trailer from my brain.
Does it end with the Irish what? And then he starts
the Scottish dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same trailer then.
Yeah.
At a point, I was like, I understand this because I watched it so many times.
I'm watching. I'm like, I can see all the missteps the movie's going to have.
That's just not Nathan Drake. I'm sorry, this is not him. Like,
so it's funny, Carson. I know you have played through all of Uncharted. But it was specifically, I was thinking about Evan because you're the cynical one. There was a dude like a couple seats down from me that was just like, nah, like Sully wasn't even there, and I'm like,
that's fucking awesome.
This other dude was just like, oh, they're doing the plane thing. I'm like,
I'm not gonna be like, oh, Sully wasn't there. Like I know this is a different multiverse, Nathan Drake, whatever. But it's gonna end.
Ben, I do know Marcus Theaters. I used to go there when I lived in Minnesota. They had it there. Fun fact, I saw Spider-Man Homecoming opening night at a Marcus Theater with my high school friend. Yeah,
Marcus
they're mostly in the Midwest. They might. I don't know if they have some in Ohio or not.
I wonder whose theater it is. But yeah, the Uncharted trailer is just bad. It's gonna be bad, anyways.
All right. I'm indifferent. And then my final trailer every time is the Morbius trailer. First off,
you save people or kill them.
Oh my god! First off, disappointed I did not get Across the Spider-Verse in this.
Right? What the fuck?
Oh, that would have been
the perfect time.
Holy shit! As like your last like lead up into it, like
bro,
it could be a shortened version because I think the teaser was like 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, but I mean, so was the No Way Home trailer, so it's like you can do it.
Give us a trailer.
Wow.
So was the Matrix trailer.
I did get Batman though, which was.
I'm sure that's you know what? I'm sure that's a Disney move. They're like, we don't want to put.
No, they show every other company in that movie trailer.
Well, I mean, they put Lightyear, but obviously Sony needs to market Morbius because it's out next month.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Spider-Verse in front of Morbius.
Maybe.
I would hope so.
But
that's how they get me to go to the theater.
Right. I mean, also again, Sony is the one also making Uncharted, so that's why they double billed that at the tail end. But yeah, it was interesting. I contest that whoever the fuck edited, like sound mixed the line "I am Venom" is the dude that worked on Tenet, because you cannot fucking make that shit out if you don't know. That's why 1/10 of the theater actually like chuckle at it, because the other 90% are like, what?
I am. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's
It's
bad.
like
This kid's with Dr. Michael Morby.
oh god, it's bad. The first time I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, it's okay. But now I'm just like, this is a bad trailer. Like, it's gotten worse and worse the more I saw it. But it reminded me of the Batman trailer where he's in front of the Riddler. He's like, what have you done? It's like the first time I heard it, I'm like, what is he saying?
No, and then they fixed it. They fixed it for the TV spot, which is kind of funny. But
It's like, what have you done? I'm like, okay, now
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying.
at first, when I first watched it, I had my speakers up, and it was like,
Where's Rose going?
Where's Rachel?
and you hear the banging of the glass, and it just like
It reverberates. Yeah. Riddler's like, I can't hear the fuck you're saying.
you're gonna speak the fuck up.
It's prisoners all over again.
Oh man, please.
Where is she?
Hugh Jackman appears.
But anyways,
Anyways, we're back.
we're back in Happy's apartment. Peter opens the fabricator. It opens up. There's an arc reactor powering it. Oh no, Stark Tech. Shut up. It's fine.
I was fine with that. I was like, all right, I know. Let's go into Electro.
I was
Whatever.
like, Iron
'Cause
Spider.
Because it does a very deliberate cut. It's like, oh, there's something big in there. Ha ha ha. Like
Yeah.
Electro Boy Jr. I don't care. It's fine. It works. But yeah, then it gets interesting because Otto is completely against it the entire time. Because he's influenced under the arms.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Peter's like starting to build the stuff, and first he's tweaking the new chip, and Norman's fascinated, and we were talking about it earlier. It's just so cool to see his genuine intriguement and brilliance of Peter, which he saw in Tobey as well, but that was coming from like much better than my son. Like in this moment, it's just genuinely just like, you are like a great person.
yeah.
Peter Parker. But yeah, then he fixes it, and I'm just like, damn, this is so cool. And Peter's really excited that he did it, and Norman's also fucking smiling. It's funny seeing the side profile, because I'm like, this man is a literal goblin. Smile.
But this where he mentions Oscorp.
No, he mentioned it earlier at Feast that it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He does. He was like, he doesn't say Oscorp specifically, but he was like, if you're ever looking for a job and you're willing to commute between universes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that specifically? I'll just talk about it right now. It's like, do you think we'll get Oscorp in the future? Oscorp now that the MCU has established that there is no Oscorp, like, are they going to establish that like Oscorp is going to be a startup in the next trilogy, like a small company?
Well, what I can see happening is Oscorp now, probably does exist. I don't think Norman was on the fucking internet or anything. Again, this is a man from 2002. He was probably like going to locations he was familiar with, and nothing was there.
Right.
Because again, he tried to go to his house. Somebody else lives there. The Oscorp factory does not exist. And I think you could have like an Oscorp branch pop up.
Yeah, it could be international.
I don't think Oscorp is in New York yet, but they'll probably introduce a new location.
Right. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like people would have been like, "Oh yeah, we know Oscorp, something like that." But he didn't mention Oscorp at all. Like Peter didn't know it at all either. I like the idea of like Harry and Norman just like starting to create Oscorp or something like that. Like,
I mean, I'm down for that too.
I would like that a lot. Like a startup company, and then you really get the Peter, Harry.
Maybe the relationship's like better at first, and then the Norman gets more obsessed with like founding the company.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, I would like that a lot.
What I would love is like, I don't think they're gonna be roommates because Peter just got a whole ass apartment. But I could see like
spoilers.
But I could see like maybe like, hey, partner up with the project, Peter with Harry, and like nobody knows their last names right now, so just time will go by and it'll be like, hey, buddy, what's up? They'll actually start to be friends, and then it'll be revealed. Like someone will call him like Mr. Osborne. Like what? And it's like, he's like, oh, it's me. This fucking and Peter's just like mentally just like on edge. I would love to see that.
I would really like that. Yeah, because before this, I fully thought like, because we all thought like the building's going to be owned by Oscorp, or at least that was one of the theories.
The Stark Tower,
the Stark Tower,
Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
At this point now,
I guess that's not going to happen. I think now it's even more so. This is going to be the Baxter building.
I think so. With John Watts taking over, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just a cool little Easter egg I thought during the movie. I'm like, oh, Oscorp's not here. This is gonna be interesting moving forward.
Okay, but then we get to a scene I think is really beautiful where Peter's struggling to get the chip on Otto, and then he finally does. And then when Otto awakens from it, he's just, he has that quiet moment where he's just like, it's so quiet, I almost forgot. Yeah, finally the voices are gone out of his head, and he has clarity. And he's genuinely like happy. It's like, Norman, yes, it's me. Like he's genuinely so happy. And then Peter has so much fucking confidence in this. He unlocks the arms, to which the arms come over very slowly, peacefully onto his chest and give the nanotech back, the little bit that he ripped off, enough to make a new spider logo that looks really beautiful. I think it's a great looking suit.
You'll never see it again.
All right. And you're right. PS4, let's go. PS5.
I wear it all the time there. Yeah.
It's a good one. But then it's so good seeing it because he's just like, I'm grateful, dear boy, truly. How can I help? And I'm just like, it's fucking Otto.
I love that, dear boy. He says it again at the end with Tobey. He's like, Peter, my boy. It's like, oh yeah.
It's so genuine. It's like, because Otto Octavius, great man. He's
great guy. Yeah, we haven't seen this kind of Otto in a long time.
I've literally heard the perspective in like breaking down stuff from Spider-Man 2 that he's the Peter Parker that has it all figured out.
Which is so good because in terms of his villains, there's always a little bit of Peter in his villains. Like Otto's like the Peter Parker, like Nathan said, has it all figured out. But Norman's like a super smart guy as well, but he just like went the opposite direction. Evil. Yeah,
because Otto literally has like he has the love in his wife and the work in the science. Like it's right, not conflicting.
Balance. Yeah. I think it's cool because it's like, I guess the one way to kind of put it is the villains are often shadows of what he could turn into down a certain path.
Yes.
If his life goes a certain way, or if he makes certain choices, or if he doesn't embrace, the complications of being a hero, or all that stuff. So it's so interesting that all of that is literally centered in this apartment, and you kind of get to just let that fester with everybody.
Yeah. Of course, it's interesting seeing the different villain perspectives. Like, Electro is always like on it. I mean, granted, he's lustful for the power, and he's like really like borderline, just like I don't know, man. I think he's more so just like he doesn't want to go back to that nobody.
Dude, the tension with that damn little clicker thing when it's like loading up on the.
That was so smart.
It's really good.
That was great.
A literal ticking clock.
Yeah.
So good.
It's established a Sandman. He doesn't trust anybody, but he's here for his daughter. He just wants to get home. Yeah,
Lizard's just chilling in a truck.
Yeah, literally, he's like, he didn't want to come up. I'm like, motherfucker. Also,
CGI budget.
Also, I feel like they updated Lizard's look a bit. He looks a lot more Killer Croc to me in a sense. Just like the shape of his head seemed kind of like slightly altered.
I would have to compare. Yeah, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it still looked good. I mean, probably like better textured. I don't know. It's all good.
Oh, you didn't see Amazing Spider-Man 10 times, Nathan? So
I saw it twice in theaters.
Me too.
You're a fraud, Nathan.
I saw Gwen's
You're a
Death
fraud,
twice in theaters.
13-year-old.
Yeah.
Drive yourself.
I like Electro's whole plight in this too. He's just like, it's beeping. He's like, I don't know how I feel about this, man. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, his is one of the most emotional ones because I love Amazing Spider-Man 2 so much. He's like, I don't want to go back home to being a nobody. And then Sandman's like, just chill out, dude. It's gonna be okay.
It is funny when like Peter was like explaining electricity, and he's like, I don't know why I'm explaining. He's like, can I ask you a question? Are these your Legos? He's like, this fucking child. But yeah, then we do get that moment with a Norman. He's like doing the calculating, the green liquids going in. One of my screens, someone was just like, I think it was a kid. he was just like, lizard serum. And I was like, no, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
It's fine though. You'll find out. And then they have that quick back and forth with Otto and Norman, which is interesting because like outside of like the PS4 game, you haven't really like seen that like between interactions between Norman and Otto. Sure in the comics, but it is fascinating to like see these two like brilliant minds engage.
For sure.
And then also here too, it's it's coming from a wholesome place with Otto. It's like, you're finally fixed. But that fucking like voice drop, like 9 out of 10 times my audiences are just like, oh shit.
Here it goes. Yeah.
And even I'm just like
Yeah, everybody in the audience is just like, oh no, because they know it's just like
not like this.
Yeah, I love the zoom in. You don't even see his face.
And then when he turns around, he's just like, it's fine.
You know, like shit's about to go down.
Yeah. And I think that's when it cut back to Elektra real quick to talk with Sandman about the doubts. And then back to Peter, and he's working on something, and then it has that spider sense, but we're locked onto his face constantly. He's in like a weird world of perspective, and it's constantly following him, even like zooming out at a point where he's like trying to evaluate like the whole situation, like what is wrong.
That was an interesting directorial choice. I didn't really expect that. I really liked it. Like we usually don't see like a long sequence of spider sense like that, because you figure spider sense, boom, something's about to happen, but this one lasts like a whole minute. Yeah,
so many great
and it's honestly it makes me think that it's lingering because like the uncertainty between Norman and Goblin is there a little bit, and it's like it can't be pinpointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and granted, he's literally surrounded by villains, and
exactly.
Electro had doubts too.
Yeah, so it's like
Sandman's not trusting, so like everybody's a risk essentially, other than Otto.
It was like the Thing. It's like, who do you trust?
Literally. And then he's just like, trying to just like engage and just like let it take control. And he webs Norman, and Norman just like fucking lets it go. And he's just like,
I love it.
Neat trick. That's
a neat trick you got there. I was like, yeah.
Motherfucker's like, Norman's on sabbatical, honey. And I'm like, oh shit.
I love the way you said it. Norman's on sabbatical.
Oh, honey.
So good.
Fucking May's just like burning incense in the back.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, man?
Well, she was chilling during the downtime.
There's like 5 villains in her house. You're burning incense. Like, okay.
I mean, they came willingly.
I would have had a shotgun packing. If I see you guys moving,
here's the shotgun. But yeah, then it's interesting. He starts going on. It's like, yeah, we watched you behind Norman's cowardly eyes. How she trapped you in her holy moral mission. God, this fucking dialogue is so good.
Holy moral mission, yeah.
And Willem just sells it so well. He's just breaking it down. Just like, did you really think we would let that happen? Eventually he gets to the point where he's just like, these aren't curses, these are gifts. Gods don't have to choose, they take.
Which is so good. Again, like I said earlier, when I was my second time, I was trying to really dive into Norman as a villain. And this is really where you get the crux of who he is, or at least the Goblin. He has this God complex. He's a narcissist. He cares about himself. He wants power.
Yeah. To that point, he didn't. I'm sorry. He didn't say they. He didn't say they take. He literally said we take. He did call himself a god.
Yeah. He thinks himself as a god. He's a narcissist. He wants power, and this the opposite of Peter. Peter's a good guy. Like he always thinking about others instead of himself. And in this moment, Norman's only thinking about himself. Not wanting to die, of course, and again thinking about the multiverse, but also, I don't want to be weak anymore. Like I am a god. I do not want to get cured, because if I'm cured, I'm less than a god. I love Norman's whole or the Goblin's whole ideology here. Even though it's pretty simple, but under the subtext, it's pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, it's really great. And so at that point, that's when Electro decides to break out and steal the arc reactor.
Peter's like,
yeah, he's like, the fuck. and Norman breaks his hand. Fucking, you forget Norman has super strength.
Yeah, dude.
He very much does, because he literally made fucking Tobey bloodied in the goddamn face. I know he threw a bomb at him, but fuck.
One of the best fights ever.
It's so good. But I feel like they really were able to mask that brutality. Like, first off, he punches them like up into like the under of the stairs.
Yeah,
and
boom.
This fight is so good, man.
I couldn't tell if like pieces of the stairs broke, or like part of the nano on his back, or both. But like there was just like a lot of debris shattered from that. And I was like, damn. Electro then also shocks Ock out the window, and then he takes off. We know he's good though, so it's chill. I guess. Also, a low point. Jameson came. JJ, he came in
outside,
trying to get.
Yeah.
He's trying to get stuff, and he tips a little
He
point.
caused damage control, right?
Yeah, he called damage control. They're going to be here any minute. Place is going to be swarming with the feds. And so the fight's breaking down. May also, she snuck over and like took all the cure pieces that they built so far in her feast bag. That's important. But yeah, the fight begins to break out. Sandman just like drifts off because he's just like, he doesn't want to fucking get caught up. Again, he doesn't trust him. But then the fight ensues, and goddamn, this is a great fight. There's a lot of great moments. Like, fuck, he punches Peter out the window that shatters, and he webs to Norman to not fall. And then when he does, Norman takes the web and shoots him out another window.
So cool.
And then on that fucking balcony, Peter, like, I think it was one of the fucking PS4 moves that they did, because I think they did a couple where he just did the fucking flip and then fucking pulls him through a platform.
Oh, it's so awesome, dude.
It's so good. Dude, it's so brutal. You're going through wall after wall. He kicks him into the hallway. Norman's great line there. He says, strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. Fucking punches him back.
Too weak to take it.
Yeah. Dude, I love how they stepped up. Like I feel like Far From Home was tricky with the action because we had this elementals thing and Mysterio's projections.
Stuff. Yeah.
And it was so overbearing at points because the geography of it was all over the place. And I feel like this was really focused in on the brutality of like just face to face with the characters. And we'll get to the other fight too, which I think steps it up even more on the shield fight. It's incredible.
And a great moment when he's coming back to run Norman, he jumps off the wall to like get on top of Norman, and he's punching him, and it gets fucking scary when he's hitting him, and then he's just smiling and
no
laughing.
damage. I'm like, damn.
Oh, and it's like, oh god, and then he fucking like throws him through the fucking ground again, and it's like fuck, and he walks away, and it's great moment. Really like great little thing where like Peter's like he's like limping, but like he needs to get out, so he webs the window to shatter it to get to the wall outside. It's so cool, man. And then that's when first off JJ locks on like, haha, the menace. And as he's distracted by like the lights and stuff, Lizard comes down, told you there'd be consequences, throws him back in the window, the same level that Norman's on. Damn it!
He's like, hey, what a surprise! Let me pound you through some more floors.
He bodies him through like 7.
I like the positioning. Yeah, he puts his knee on Parker's chest and just like pile drives. I'm like, has this guy seen Warrior? Like, this guy is just going straight up MMA on him.
Oh
like,
god,
brutal.
Oh, it's so intense. All this time, May's running down all the stairs because the elevator's out of commission because of Electro.
Why do people go for the elevators during emergencies? Why would you even try that? She's like, oh, I guess it's not working. No shit, man.
Gotta get out fast. I don't know. The villains are here.
It's about drive. It's about power.
There's a guy named Electro, and you want to use the elevator? I'm sorry.
Hey. But yeah, then he falls into the lobby where May is as well. And again, more great dialogue for Willem. He's like, what does he say? He says, like, I think like the thing holding him back is morality. It's choking you as he's choking him. Can you feel it?
Yeah,
choking you. Yeah. Okay.
It's so intense. And then May runs up trying to help to hit the cure into his neck, but fail because again, why the fuck would evil Norman design that? It must have been a decoy or something or incomplete. But,
I figured it was just incomplete, which I liked because I think at that point, good Norman was still working on it. But
if anything, evil Norman was probably making like a deeper enhancement, and who knows what that would be.
Yeah, what I liked about it was that it didn't work, so they could do the payoff of Tobey actually being like, okay, he's my villain. I know what. Like, I've been thinking about it for so long. Like he says later on, it's like he knows what's going to work. Tom Holland wouldn't know what's going to work. He only just met the guy, so I like that it takes from somebody else's help to do it.
Yeah, he was like working on other stuff. I'm pretty sure he was probably working on the cure for Sandman, if anything, at that point, while Norman was working on himself. But yeah, then May is like, she's keeping her distance, and Peter's being held up by the fucking like hair.
Oh man, yeah, this is brutal.
And May is just like trying to like help her like surrogate son. She like pulls a piece of debris for like a melee weapon, something, and the whole time Peter's like, May run, and the fucking like the framing of outside when the glider comes in, and like You know what that
Yeah.
is.
You immediately think of Spider-Man 1, and I'm like, is she gonna get impaled? I thought she'd be like, ah!
I didn't know how it was
didn't
gonna happen. I did know that
Oh man.
it was in a report that like May was one of the people that was gonna perish.
Remember, I talked about it too. I was like, are they really gonna kill off Aunt May of all
And
people?
it's
I'm
weird
like,
because there was also like reports I heard before that like Ned was the one. So there was different like elements in the ballpark that I wasn't 100% what was going down.
before the movie, I was like, because I asked like one of our last podcasts, I was like, in terms of deaths, I'm like, Ned is in there, you're fine. You're not gonna die. No way, no how. You're kids, you're not gonna die. But I was like, Aunt May or Happy May, but even Aunt May, I was like, they haven't really done her character justice, or they're really going to kill her off in this final movie, and they did, and I liked it because it still worked.
And it was framed interesting because first off, she gets hit. She's not impaled, but she did get like knocked by like the edge of the glider. She wasn't hit by the blades.
She goes flying though. Yeah,
she does go flying, and then it's a continuous shot of the glider coming right back, and then Norman hops on it and spins around. I'm like, shit, dude, watch stepping it up.
Oh no.
And he's just like Peter.
Motherfucker.
Before he leaves, doesn't he say like something being undone, like your punishment is going?
Oh, he says no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah,
and he says you'll thank me later. And
God,
with a fucking crazy ass grin, he ignites the bomb and throws it, and Peter goes for it. That was it was angled differently in the trailer because I think in the trailer it's detonated like in front of him, but in the movie he bats away slightly before it like comes through, and then he blows up the whole like front entrance lobby, the cops before damage control even arrives. And then it's interesting because again we talked about earlier the way it's framed, like May gets up and you like think like fuck, is she dead? But she's up like she's moving around.
I was like, okay, we're good, like we'll reset.
Now there is like a brief moment where she's like she has like a stutter, but she does catch herself, and then she's just like, knock on my ass, I'm fine. And Peter is just like, okay, and she's legitimately just sitting there, and Peter's like, I think I broke my ribs. Like that takes a lot, like for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I the way she's talking, the way like the fluctuation in her voice, I figured it's just like, well, yeah, you were by a bomb, like of course you're gonna be like rattled.
Yeah.
But so then that's when we get to the point where Peter's like, Strange was right. I really should have just like let them go back. And May was firm to the end, saying like, no, you did the right thing.
It's so good.
It's so good. And
I think it's Marissa in one of Tom's best performances in this scene.
Yeah,
it's really good.
And
it was good,
motherfucker.
And I love it.
Anyway, she Peter's like, it's not my responsibility, May. And then she's like, oh, what Norman said, my mortal holy mission. Nah. Peter, listen, you have a gift, you have power, and with great power there must also come great responsibility, which is the most comic accurate line. It literally is spelled out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. A few rounds my audiences have applauded for that. It was really great.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I like this line here.
Yeah,
I didn't like it, and we'll talk about the other instance where it's you.
What? Hold on.
Oh, when the other Spider-Man
it's fanficky. We'll get to it.
I know. Whenever Tobey and Andrew are scenes, those are perfect scenes. But I do agree with Carson.
Like so, I literally saw this on TikTok 3 months ago. Someone's like, "Okay, what if they like
go back to
each other's
yeah.
sentences?"
All right. All right, I'm gonna get to a point when I get there, but
yeah,
but
I'm ready.
I like to hear.
I did too. I really did like to hear.
I like.
Really, yeah.
It seems like throughout I feel like it definitively locks in that I don't think Tom's Peter had an Uncle Ben per se.
I was about to talk about this. Yeah.
And frankly, I'm okay with that because I think that also empowers the character of May a bit more. That she was literally like a single parent.
And I started to get that more.
Me too. Like
from this movie,
it's funny because I saw Nathan tweet that out in our DMs like Friday or Saturday. I'm like,
did I?
Maybe I thought I said it. You talking about somebody?
Did I have time?
Yeah. One of these days you talked about because we were having the Uncle Ben discussion in the movie in the DMs, and I was like, I don't know. I like that idea a lot because it was just so weird to me that they're all talking about Uncle Ben's in the later scene with Tobey and Andrew, and Tom's just like, yep. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, did he not have an Uncle Ben? But I think, of course, there is an Uncle Ben. There had to be an uncle to somebody's Aunt May.
Yeah,
right?
we know
But
there was. But
I just think that he didn't. I don't know that either that he died earlier or something. I don't think it
or
was
they didn't
like
connect.
It is
or,
interesting. It is interesting
Yeah.
because like usually in like the canon of Spider-Man, May is not related to Peter's parents. Ben is, but you know,
yeah, they can swap that. I
I
think
think it's
yeah, it's
something out.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But I liked it because
Mhm.
it empowers May more,
Mhm.
and it would just make more sense if Nathan's idea is right, that either Ben didn't have that big of a role, or like when Spider-Man got his powers, there was no like, oh no, I led to Uncle Ben's death. Like there wasn't that
Right.
moment for Tom.
Mhm.
It was
it's just
like,
it's a different kind of guilt, and I think it works for this particular
Yeah.
iteration.
It reminds me of the Superman and Clark Kent discussions. It's where it's like the heart attack or the tornado kind of a thing.
Right.
It's just like maybe it's one of them is more just like he got shot because of what Peter Parker did, or in this one, it just wasn't that important.
Yeah. But then after that line delivery,
So you cried here, Nathan and Carson?
I teared up a little bit here. Yeah.
I've cried on many different parts. Sometimes like in the screening, I cried like later. Sometimes I cried earlier. Sometimes
Earlier,
both.
what part did you cry earlier? The
Well, my first initial one, it's definitely this one. Because
okay, yeah.
it's very emotional. Because after she says that, she's like, "Let's get out of here," but then we see like just for a second, I could catch my
that
breath,
fall
and
over,
her
yeah.
hands shaking, and then she collapses, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" All this time, and as soon as she falls, it immediately cuts to the troops of damage control hopping out of the truck.
And then Happy shows up, man.
Yes, okay, but before that, he's talking with May, and she's like, "What's wrong?" Look, May's just kind of out of it, and it's very heartbreaking. That she is. She's like, "I just have to catch my breath," and he's like, "Okay, catch your breath. We'll get you to a doctor." And then as soon as he like sees the blow on his hand, he calls for an ambulance, somebody to help. And then he starts like losing it, just like, "You're okay." He's like petting her head, and it's really emotional, dude. Tom is selling it very well.
Yeah, he's like, wake up. And then,
Yeah, and you see that moment where like her like last breath leaves, and he starts having like a slow realization, like the tears are forming, and he's just like, "May, hey, will you just wake up and talk to me, please?"
Yeah, that part was like, whenever a death hits, it always gets more emotional when the person on the receiving end or
Yeah.
on the other end just like witnessing that death.
And
yeah,
it really is heartbreaking, especially when a Happy does pull up in front. And yeah, he has like the targets on him stuff, but like he's just like looking and he sees what's going on. And I think John's acting with his eyes is very good here. He's
maybe his
not
best acting ever. No,
hey no.
Maybe.
I've seen
Maybe.
Chef. It's Chef.
Okay, so I forgot Chef. Yeah. All right. But there's a great moment here because he's not only seeing like May, who obviously he cares about May, but also he cares about Peter a whole lot. They've been through a lot, and he knows how this is affecting him. And also, the feds are coming right now, and there's nothing Happy can do to stand in the way of this except warn him. So when he gets pulled out of the car, he's yelling for Peter to run. All of this moment, Peter's having a breakdown, and he's literally like kissing her forehead, crying into her, saying, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, he has to leave her there, which sucks.
Tough,
Yeah,
man.
it's heartbreaking because while he's saying that, you hear in the background, "Come out, Parker, with their hands up, or we'll open fire."
And they're shooting at him.
Yeah, Happy lets out one glass yell. He's like, "Run!" And they open fire, and he gets shot in the arm, like pushed away from her body at that moment. It cuts out, and they get in, and he is gone. And then it cuts back one final time to May, and there's just the final like tear that falls out. Like she's just like frozen there, and she's gone.
Yeah,
Pain, dude.
Great scene.
Yeah, dude. It's really heartbreaking. And then that's when we cut over to Ned's house. No, we don't. Sorry. No, important. The rain, the fucking Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You get a report from JJ. Are you saying tragedy? What else can I call it? One more need be said. And And you just see like the feast bag on the ground in rain. You see Peter's face just soaked in rain, just the tears mixed with it, everything just like dripping off. All while Jameson is breaking down. It's like Peter's literally fucking watching this, and he's being like lectured in the sense that everywhere Spider-Man goes, chaos and calamity ensue. Basically just like reinforcing on his mental state that like this is his fault.
Right.
Whether that's true or not, it's how he's personally feeling, and it's just
Yeah, this is his lowest point in the
solidified.
movie.
It really is, and it hurts so much. It's shot so well too. It's really good, and just like that shot, just like the big screen with JJ reporting it, and he's just
So
standing
cool.
there all alone. He's literally just
great
losing
scene.
everything.
I love
It's perfect,
adding
yeah.
like the rain there. The rain there really helped. Of course, the rain like magically disappears like later on. But I'm like, I like how
He leaves.
I know, but like I like having the choice to have like the rain in this specific scene because it really
Yeah.
works really well.
It's really beautiful.
I'm always particular about my rain scenes.
Right.
It's really good.
Hey. But yeah, so then we cut over to Ned's house where both him and MJ are also sulking because they knew May, they care about May, and they're watching the news reports confirming that someone had died there. Of course it was her. Because, again, that's Happy's apartment stuff. We know what's happening. And so MJ is deciding like, all right, enough's enough. I'm gonna press the box. And then Ned's unsure, but he's not entirely sure, and he's just like, I don't know. I just wish we could see him. And there's this little spark, and I'm like, haha. And the audience are like, huh? And you like do it again. All right, I wish we could see him. And it starts to get a little more solid, and it's like, no. And he's like, I wish we could see Peter. And it opens up, and god damn it, the amount of people that recognize those damn lenses in the dark. It's so because there's been so many instances where people like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
I knew it was him, but I was like, wait, no.
Is this
real?
real?
I was in denial, even though like I've known about this for months, like that this guy's gonna be in it.
And I would just say the blocking of it, I think, is like
Genius.
it really generates the hype because
Peter,
He comes
Peter,
to the
come on.
screen.
Peter, he's just like he's so far in the back, but like you're recognizing, you're just like some wide ass lenses, and he's like running toward them, and the audience is getting hyped too, like and
Genius.
it's
Yeah,
cutting
they did
around,
that.
and then it cuts back, and he jumps in, and it's goddamn it's fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's him. It's the suit. Everyone's
And then when
losing
he
their
takes
minds. No, it's so good because there's that moment where everyone's freaking out already, and it starts to slightly like die down the cheering after like the freaking out by everybody. It's like, who is this? And then he pulls off the mask. It's Andrew Garfield. Crowd loses it for a second time. This one man has on his own has the power of the entire portal scene of Endgame. This one man. It's so good.
It's so smart of them to have him like out of focus a little bit. You see the white lenses, but then he literally runs towards the audience.
He's running, and again,
he
it's
covers
building hype.
like the camera zooms in, like he's covering half the screen, like 90% of the screen when he takes off the mask, and people go crazy. Like, yeah, he got the biggest pop out of both my screens compared to Tobey.
I had a couple moments where like I got a third cheer, where under the second cheer when he says I'm Peter Parker, like it quiets just enough to hear everyone hear him say I'm Spider-Man, and I was like,
yeah.
It's so fun every time, and it's just so great to see. First off, it's great to see Andrew back again in the role that he cares about, and also
he's so good in the whole movie. He steals every scene.
He steals the movie from here on in. From here on in, he steals the
best actor
movie.
to touch this role, hands down. Like
100%. Oh, it's not even close. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so good, and also just like in character, Peter Parker, Andrew's Peter Parker is
so
just
good. The way he's
so
moving
giddy.
backwards. He's like,
he's getting fascinated about the science of this like fucking like string theory, multidimensional. It's all real. I knew it. Like he's so
he's just so like getting pissed off when people say it. Like, oh, like I still see it in Twitter comments where like, well, his Peter Parker was so cocky, and I'm like, cocky? Where do you get that from? It's like, no, he's not like cool and cocky. No, he was just like he was a skateboard.
Motherfucker's just upset that they can't skate. I can't skate. I don't give a shit.
That's all he had was a skateboard, and people automatically associated that.
He was
with
like
cool
slightly
and cocky.
grungy and like depressed, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, like Steve."
He was still a poor kid. He was still soft. Like, yeah, it was still,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's great. It's great stuff.
But yeah, just his reaction to just like the way he's moving around the apartment, man,
Yeah.
I ate it up, dude.
Then he's on the ceiling getting the cobweb,
dude,
and I'm like,
it's
Yeah,
so
he's
good.
like, come on.
Dude, the way Zendaya's playing off of him is so fun because she's also freaked out, just like prove your Peter Parker. He's like, I don't carry ID. It defeats the whole anonymous superhero thing, and she's like, she throws bread at him, and his
like,
mannerism is great because he just goes,
"Come on, yeah,
why'd you do that?"
Why'd
See, you have the tingle thing. I have the tingle thing, just not for bread. it's so good. And he's like, you're a deeply mistrusting person, and I respect it. He's hanging there, and she's like, crawl around. Yeah,
Really?
why? It's not enough. This is plenty. He's
Like,
like,
this
can you
is
get the
enough.
cob? And it's so great. Can you get the cobweb? Yeah.
his manners are so good.
It's so like every moment he literally hops down, and he could have just been like, "We good?" But no, he's like, "We good." We good?
Dude, and then
I want to know how much of any of this was like it was scripted or was it
improvised or
Andrew?
what? Yeah.
'Cause a lot of it was just even when she said like clean up the web, she's just like, oh sorry. So like everything about it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good, and God, it just and it continues. It's so good because he's like, oh, so I opened the portal to the wrong Peter Parker. What do we do? And when the audience heard this next line, they were like, huh? Because he was like, I guess we keep trying till we find the right
We're
one.
like, oh.
But also when he said that, Andrew in the back is just like, ouch. So then they just fucking find Peter Parker, and it opens up fucking.
The king.
It's Tobey
The
Maguire.
goddamn king
Yeah.
He
walks
starts knowing about
through in
Tobey
a
Maguire.
plain hoodie and like jeans.
Oh
and
yeah,
the
the
green
dude's
jacket.
the dude's wearing a fucking flannel. He comes in, and I was like, yeah. Oh, it's so wild, and they're just like, he's like, hi. He's like, I'm sorry, it don't mind. I just closed.
Dude, he like went right back into. He disappeared right into it's first line.
He
I'm
really
like,
did.
damn, that's.
I had some worried qualms that like here and there might have been some points where he's just like maybe had a phone in. But no, he did not. I don't think like the whole time. I think he was really good. And then he's seeing Andrew, and okay, nobody's
I love this little
nobody's
battle.
like cheering, but like internally, I'm just like, this is real. Like, and they're just like, wait, he's not your friend because similar to like Peter B. Parker in Into the Spider-Verse, you see a new world with a different Peter Parker, and you're just like, hold on, what's going on? Okay, so this is the guy. But he sees Andrew, he's like, that's not yours. And then they're unsure of if this is legitimately like a Spider-Man. So they do like a little test and they mirror each other. They fucking shoot web, flip, and he webs Andrew's web shooter, and he's just like, huh. It's so good. He's like, wait, so you're Spider-Man too? Why didn't you just say it? Well, I don't go around advertising it. It kind of defeats the whole anonymous superhero thing. Andrew's like, I just said that. That's what you just said. It's so wild. It's so great. But he's breaking it down of how I had the feeling that your friend needed my help, and Andrew's like, our help. And I'm like, oh fuck. The feels.
We gotta go.
The mentorships. Let's go. The older brothers.
Where do you guys think they were going to go?
I thought they were just gonna portal to
I didn't
Peter.
I didn't think about it because they're breaking it down like a place to go to clear the head. And it's a great little moment where he's like, Toby's like, for me it was the Chrysler Building, and Andrew says Empire State. It's better view. That is a sweet view, and I'm like, yeah, it's so good.
Love it.
Me as a PS4 player, I'm like, I agree. Yeah. So then they start breaking it down like, it's our place. And just like, yeah, I think so. And then they immediately cut to the rooftop of the school, and I'm like, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So then at first it's just a Ned and MJ.
I love that hug.
Oh, it's so good. Like, yeah, it comes in for a hug, and like, Tom was already kind of breaking down, but then after a moment in the hug, he breaks down even more into it, and it's so emotional. And then there's a quick bit I didn't catch until like a couple of viewings after that, like Peter starts to like pick up with the spider sense that like the others are there. That's why he starts to lift his head before MJ begins to say like there are some people here. And And this also got some pops from some of my audiences where it just pans up to like the moonlight and you just see them,
The silhouettes.
silhouettes.
Yeah, really cool. Really
It's
cool.
they're just hopping down. I'm just like, damn.
And again, every time they zoom in on like between Andrew and Toby, Andrew was always he's continuing his like Amazing Spider-Man's thing where it's like he's the one always like formed or fitted like a spider. Like when they do
Yeah.
the silhouette pan up, like he's like on it like a spider.
Oh yeah, he's arched and stuff.
Even when they like do the famous swing in the third act, just like when they hop down, Andrew's the one like on like the spider formation, and Toby's just like this. It's like it's
Mhm.
really continuing how they were in their own respective movies.
It's so good. And I really love this scene.
I like this scene too. I just think it's a little out of hand for me.
It's a little. Again, they're towing the line with the fan service. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, all the references was stuff that we've already seen before.
Yeah.
They didn't reference like even in the next scene, they don't reference anything like.
And I think the
that we
emotion
haven't
wins
seen.
me over, like especially when Andrew's talking about Gwen. Like I've really got
Yeah.
me.
And okay, so I really love just like the way it plays out, and like with their emotions taking control, because at first Peter's not having it. He's like,
yeah,
"All
he's
right,
like,
no,
nah, like
no. First off, don't tell me you know how I feel."
Yeah.
And he's like, he's just at his lowest point where he doesn't care anymore. Like even what
Right.
May was like preaching, he was just like, they're gone. She's gone because of them. I'm sending them back. If they die, if you kill them, that's on you. And he goes to reach for the box, but MJ is like holding it back for a second to have them hear it out. And then Tobey just goes out. I lost my Uncle Ben. It was my fault. Like he just straight up just he admits that, because of course that's like the big driving factor that
drives
is
the whole
driving him.
trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great the way it plays out, because you could have like had them all be like, yeah, it's also my fault, Uncle Ben. But no, they lock onto the most emotional thing that Andrew has, which is like he lost Gwen. She was my MJ.
The way he says it, like he points at her, he's like, she was my MJ. I'm like,
he's getting choked up.
He's getting choked up. I'm like, yeah, oh damn.
Dude, he sells it so good.
He sells it so good.
He steals it. He steals this.
Hey guys, when this comes out on home release, can we do a commentary?
100%. It comes out. Somebody mark the calendar. We're doing it day one. He gets choked up at that. Even going back a little bit, when he said like you kill the people in your universe, like even Andrew like looks down at a second, like because in Andrew specifically, at least Andrew was the main thing. The crux of Amazing Spider-Man 2 was like everybody I come into contact with dies. Like Gwen's dad, Gwen, like Harry, like everybody around me is dying, and I'm like miserable. That's why I love Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it goes through what Peter went through, but Peter wasn't just having it today.
Yeah, it's man, it's
so good.
They start to break it down more. Tobey saying like they found the man responsible. I wanted him dead,
and
I got what I wanted.
Yeah,
it didn't make it better.
He kills a man.
Indirectly, he tripped.
Yeah,
he jumped out the window, but it's his fault.
All right.
He still drops him.
He pursued him out the window. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Andrew just chasing long blonde hair men. But no, that's separately. He blames himself. He's like, Andrew takes the fucking cake in this dialogue, because he's just breaking down how I was never able to forgive myself for that. And he said, I tried to keep going to be that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but I stopped pulling my punches. I got rageful. I got bitter. I got bitter.
This is the scene that started the whole movement, because where people are just like, wait, what? Because like at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is so beautiful, because you have him go through the seasons. He's at the cemetery every day. He can't forgive himself, and then he has to see
and then you remember that grief doesn't go away, and it comes in waves, and
he's back. He's inspiring the kid.
He's back. He's inspiring the kid, and then to hear this line though, you're like, wait, did he spiral again? And it's just like, oh man, like now I want to see this
in the 7 years, man. Maybe Spider-Man 3. Let's go.
Give me him as the Sonyverse Spider-Man, whatever, and then give me Spider-Gwen showing up, and maybe that Spider-Gwen. Is there in the comics? There's a great
panel in the Spider-Verse storyline where There's a scene between, I think it's the 616 Peter and Spider-Gwen, and
Mhm.
he says, I couldn't save the Gwen Stacy of my world, and she said, hey, I couldn't save the Peter Parker of mine. Tell you what,
Yes.
let's look out for each other.
I want
let's stay
that. I
alive-
want
let's stay
that
alive
mutual
together.
kind of like
Yeah.
stay alive together and see where that goes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like I heard people saying like they want MJ back in this next one. I'm off the board on the Shailene. I love Shailene Woodley, but I don't need her in this next, if there is ever one. I wouldn't need her in an Amazing
I wouldn't
Spider-Man
either.
3. Like I want Peter to have happiness, but I liked it what he talked about earlier when he's the Science Bros moment where he's like, I don't really have anybody at this point. Like I would rather have him meet a Spider-Gwen, not develop any, of course, romantic feelings, but just be like have that understanding and then go back to being alone. I mean, and eventually find somebody, of course, but like I don't know.
I would love him settle down with just a normal person, like not even an icon in the comics, or like I don't know. I kind of want that swan song story out of it, you know, where it all ends up happy, but maybe not the way that we expected. Like
exactly. Like I go back to one of my other favorite Mark Webb movies, 500 Days of Summer, where the whole movie he's pining over Zooey Deschanel, right? And one of them.
What? Wait, sorry. 500 Days of Summer?
500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Is the girl Zooey Deschanel?
Yes.
Is that who it is? Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, he's going after her the whole movie until he realizes, okay, we're just not right for each other. And at the very end of the movie, the last minute, he finds a random girl at the office, and he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And then they insinuate like that's like going to be like the romantic connection moving forward, and that's how the movie ends. Like I would love something like that for Amazing Spider-Man 3, where he's just like going through tough times, like an existential crisis kind of movie, and then at the very, very, very end of the movie, he finds an MJ or he finds somebody. I don't need like a romantic thing throughout the whole movie. I just like I want it insinuated that MJ,
and
that
maybe he accidentally or romantically pursues Spider-Gwen, and like he's like, I'm sorry, like that wasn't me, like I didn't mean to do that, like that I'm really so like that could be a crux in like the second act.
I'm seeing you in somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. That whole I would love that arc and then him to like grow past that.
Yeah. Love it.
I love it. But yeah, the scene is like really beautiful. The way they're like explaining, like, okay, sorry, another bit with Andrew Point saying that how he got rageful and bitter. He said, I don't want you to turn out like me.
And again, he's still getting choked up in that scene.
He is.
And a lot of people want, going back to Main Man 3, I want to see this darkness. I want to see this. Like, this is why I'm so hyped for the Batman next year. It's like we're seeing the progression of the darkness into the person that he becomes. Like, I want to see the progression of Peter not pulling the punches, but then starting to realize what he's doing is bad. Like, man, because I hate seeing like dark and gritty Spider-Man. Like, I'm not all for that.
Right.
I just
that's for the black suit arc.
Yeah,
like, it would be a slightly more cynical like Spider-Man 2 when he like puts down the suit, like
yeah, that kind of thing. I don't need like I'm a dark and gritty Spider-Man.
Right,
I don't need that. I just want
where are the other drugs going?
Yeah, where are the drugs?
But
yeah, again, this whole scene is just Andrew fucking killing it. Like, he's having one hell of a year, and I'm just like,
absolutely,
I love the guy. I love him so much.
And it does, and then it does pass back to Tom, where he's like talking about how well, he begins to break down after he says, I could still hear her voice in my head. Like, even after all that, she still said we did the right thing. And she told me, and she told me with great power. See, okay. I guess I'm debuting Carson. The reason I feel like this works is because I feel like the whole like lead up, I've been hearing stuff that like Tobey's the one that's going to say the full thing. Hey, Peter won. With great power comes great responsibility. That's how I always imagine. Like, they're probably going to do something like that. And I probably would have been like sold fan service wise anyway, whatever. But I like the fluidity of the scene because it doesn't just like stop. He says Tom's the one who starts it with great power. Tobey realizes it says with great responsibility, and Tom taking it back. It's like, how do you know that? And then fucking Andrew comes in and just like Uncle Ben said it, like, because he's with it too. He's also getting choked up again. Like, God damn it, he's so good. Then it cuts back to Tobey and he says, yeah, the day he died. And then he finishes off and says, maybe she didn't die for nothing, Peter. And just like with all the factors functioning in together with that, not just the line, it all works for me.
And I love that line. Maybe she didn't die for nothing.
Yeah.
Like
That pulls it together for me.
that pulls it together. So throughout all the Spider-Man movies, like you especially again going back to Amazing Spider-Man, where Captain Stacy dies, and then Gwen dies, and then Harry's on the verge of dying. Like these people aren't dying, and of course Peter internalized that, saying it's his fault. Don't go near me, kind of thing. But that line that we just said, like they didn't die for nothing. Their death had meaning, and that's what a lot of these Spider-Men continue to forget. Like these people may die, like Harry may have died in Peter's arms, but they die. Their death has meaning. Their death allowed somebody to get saved. Their death like drove somebody forward. It's like you're not dying for nothing. Which is really beautiful.
And also like as soon as that scene was over, and then we start like panning over the school. As soon as that scene ended, there was a few times where like my audience clapped because it's like, God damn it, the Spider-Men have met and we're inspired again. Let's go. So then we go back to the school. They're in the lab at the school, and it's all three of them, and they have like all the different pieces of the different villains they have to cure. That's the overall driving point. First off, Andrew is being like, I cured Connors once before, so it's no big deal. Just fucking staring at him.
No, like, he puts on the robe. I'm like, God.
Yeah, he's putting on the damn. I mean, all he has is a suit, so he's just putting on the coat. It's so great.
So good.
And I love the little MJ moment in this scene. It's just like nothing. 3 U's. Like, it's just weird, like watching all their mannerisms, like
it's really cool.
Walking around the lab.
And then also just it was a great like little moment when Tom is like laying out all the different ones. He's like, all right, Dylan, Marco, Connors. And then he just looks at Osborn's and he doesn't even say it. He just like sets it down. It's a great little thing. And then Tobey's breaking it down and he's taking a look. He's like, I think I have something I can cure for Osborn. Been thinking about it for a while. Just the thought of like he's thinking about the people he let down, how he could have fixed it,
which is really cool. Yeah, I'm like, this guy in his universe is dead, but he still was thinking about it, which is so like him. It works. And
then also to right after that point, he's looking at Tom because like Tom is not on board with Goblin anymore. Tobey just says, we got to cure all of them, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's what we do. Goes to work. It's so good. And they start breaking it down. Yeah, the 3 U's is great.
Andrew has a painful moment here.
He does.
We get the lame Ned joke coming up, though.
I mean, it is interesting the way Tobey described it because he's like, yeah, he died in my arms after he tried to kill me. I was like, that's a big gap.
I like Tobey's delivery here. It's just like the whole awkward moment with Ned and Peter. I'm like, Like,
well, it's interesting because the whole time Tobey's
joke still.
Well, I mean, like my theater's laughing, but Tobey's playing it straight because, like, yeah, man, that
that happened. Like,
yeah, I like Tobey's part, but when I'm talking about when Ned walks back up to Peter and Peter's like,
wait, like, can you run a diagnostic? He's like, yeah. He hits the keyboard and he just inches away. He's just like, ugh. But that also leads to like a really great like tiny moment between Peter and MJ. But he's like, you don't deserve any of this. Like, and he was like trying to be apologetic and like really just like, I don't deserve you. And then she's like, no. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna get through this and we're gonna do it together.
Hell yeah!
There's no joke to undercut this. It was great.
No, it was great. It was like this. Brian back to Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Gwen's like, I'm not leaving you, Peter. Like, I'm coming with you because we're gonna end this thing together. I'm here to the end.
It's so cute. They like touch foreheads and it's so cute. And Andrew's watching. It's so good. Tobey takes notice and he's like, do you have someone? He's like, nah, I don't have time for Peter Parker stuff.
Let me see this movie. Like, what does that mean? This is like, is he just not like? Does he not like relax as Peter? Is he constantly like just beating people up in alleys? Like, is he constantly just in his work, like constantly wearing the Spider-Man suit, like we saw him through the portal? Like,
I mean, balancing your fucking like school stuff.
He's not in school anymore, which is even worse. Like, he doesn't distract him with.
Well, when we left him, he was a high school graduate, so he could still have gone through some college.
Oh, true. He could have gone to college. Yeah.
Maybe he works at the Bugle now. I don't know. Different stuff back and forth. The different daily lives. But yeah, man, it's so good.
That scene really got me down. Like, man, like, I'm like, he's alone. Really?
Yeah.
Because again, prior to this, we theorized, maybe he got with MJ because deleted scenes, but no, here. He's just alone. Unlike Tobey, who
I did message that. I was like, I guess no Shailene Woodley. But
Tobey explains his
yeah,
status here.
yeah. Andrew's like you, and Toby says, it's complicated. And he's like, I guess it's not in the cards for guys like us. But Toby, with the fucking optimism, he's just like, I wouldn't give up. It took a while, but we made it work.
What do you guys,
MJ?
What do you guys make of that? Do you think married, not married, family, no family?
What I would make of it is like, I mean, they go through like a lot of like different like relationship struggles in between like the whole arcs of like fighting these villains. But I think they finally found like a common ground of just like, it's a wild life, but I'm always here with you. And they genuinely just like love each other, and I think they just have made it work. They've learned to live with like the craziness that exists.
And that, again, it's just one line, but that one line really summed up on, okay, that's why I don't really need a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey. Like, I love Tobey. I love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
But like that one, it seems more cut and close. Not close per se. Yeah.
I would say it pairs very well with the last scene of Spider-Man 3 when they just have that melancholy dance in the diner.
I say what you want about Spider-Man 3, and we did. We said lots. But that ending is so good.
It's really good, and I'm completely agreement with you guys. I think it ends. Spider-Man 3 ends where I kind of imagined it, and now I don't really see a ton of story potential. There's always story potential they could do, but it's not like there's no mystery that I want to see
to how they end up. And,
unlike Amazing Spider-Man 3, where it's like, wait, Andrew's alone. He's not with them. There's more of a emotional crux to Andrew's film.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But I mean, and granted, like Tobey got one whole extra film than Andrew did.
Exactly. Yeah.
So but it's a great little moment there, and then what was it's like made it work. Andrew laughed at something. Oh no, yeah, he was laughing at Tobey said my MJ, it gets confusing, and Andrew's like, yeah, and, they were laughing. And
Andrew didn't mention his MJ at all.
No. It's also funny because like on rewatches after so many times, like they were having so many scenes, and every time there was a shot of like Andrew in the background, I'm just watching him. and every fucking moment on screen, he's doing something, he's engaged, and it's so nice to watch.
I thought he wasn't in this movie, guys. What happened, man?
Yeah, what? Deep fake. It's not that word.
Who's gonna be the first person to interview him?
Did you guys see the leak shot in the movie? And then you're like,
I did.
Everybody goes crazy. Yeah.
Literally at a point of rewatches, I was like lining up. I was like, which frame has fucking Tobey's hand in the frame on the edge? And like, when is he mouthing? Because I've seen that mouthing so many times.
So he was really mouthing web block, right?
Web block, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people guessed he said like web blood, so that's not too far off. But web block. Nice. It's great stuff. But yeah, so they cook up the cures. They got all good, and Ned's like, Peter. And they're all they're doing the fucking point. It's fun. So then they start to gear up. Great line from Andrew, like, so are you gonna go into battle as like a fun youth pastor? Or
I love that.
That was great. Oh,
it's so good. And then when he does like the little neck
we
pull,
just see barely the suit, and I was like,
he's back. Most of my screens did freak out. They're like,
it's the suit. So he's not naked.
Right. It's so good. And then like they start to break down. Toby's like, what's that? And he's like, oh, these are my this is my web fluid for my web shooters. He's like, why? Toby's just like fucking flexed. He's like, oh, that came out of you. He's like, yeah, you can't do that, huh?
Does it come out anywhere else?
Like, no. And then Andrew's like, how is that?
Yeah, Andrew's line here is like, how did you?
Every moment.
Andrew's line delivery.
Eating it up.
It's so good.
I bet when they're doing the MCU,
Peter 3. This is the best one.
I bet when John watches like filming this and Feige's there, it's probably like there was a second where Andrew would have been in our universe. Like, oh man, like just imagine, like, because he's just killing it here.
I mean, hell, it's so funny when I like hear stories of like how they wanted to have like Hugh Jackman in Tobey's first film, but they didn't have access to the Wolverine suit because it was locked. They wanted to put Andrew's Oscorp building in the skyline of Avengers, but they ran out of time.
Yeah, imagine, guys, changes everything.
Yeah. Well, man, but so then they start to break down. All right, with the magic box, we're sending back or a portal there. Ned's like, like, yeah, I'm magic now, and I promise I will not turn into a supervillain and try to kill you. And Tom was just like,
yeah,
I was like, okay. And then Andrew once again is just hand on the shoulder, and just like, oh my god, man, this dude every time.
He's taking every moment and he's just rolling with it.
Yeah, but then they they're gonna cure some ass, and they're panning over, and then it's great scene, I think, where Tom calls into the Daily Bugle.
I do like this intro.
I wish it wasn't in a TV spot, goddammit. But it's a great little thing where he's like breaking it down. Just like, first off, he's taking full ownership that like it's his fault that villains are here. You know, JJ's eating this up like, aha, he admits it. But the whole time he's like really heartfelt, and he's like, if you villains are watching, just know I really did try to help you. I mean, I could have killed you at any moment. He's holding the cube, but I didn't. And he's talking about like how his Aunt May said like what she would have wanted is like, you know, the whole, you know, helping other people, like what taught him, and that's why he's here. And JJ's like, where is here exactly? And he says, the place that represents second chances, and it's the Statue of Liberty.
It's college
with the
MIT
Queens. Like, get copyright Bugle. No, but
checkmate, JJ.
But it is cool, even though JJ's like, good God, folks, he's gonna destroy another landmark. It's so good.
Good God.
But yeah, that's great. But just the final bit, this is in the TV spot, which I'm sad they put in the TV spot. It's a great little line where he's just like, in world, if you're watching, wish me luck. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man could really use it.
Oh, that was in a TV spot?
Yeah, it was like a week before.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Thank God I started watching those.
Yeah. But yeah, great little line. And then, you know, they're gearing up. Tom hops on top of the crown of the statue, and he's like, you guys ready? And he's like, yeah, almost ready. Toby's fucking webbing up a contraption. Their masks are just laying there, Toby and Andrew's, and it's like Andrew's just chilling. He's so cool. Yeah, and he's like, you know, Max used to be the sweetest guy until he fell into a vat of electric eels. Toby's like, that'll do it.
We'll get to it. One of my favorite lines is Jamie Foxx is like, gotta watch where you fall. We're gonna watch. That gets me every time. I'm like, hell yeah.
My whole audience, every audience laughs, dude.
It's so funny. Jamie was hilarious in this movie.
You gotta like, some of this infused humor feels like it was improvised from either Fox or Garfield or like.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's too good.
Like, gotta watch where you fall.
But let's talk about this whole deal, because
it's great.
I love how they don't mesh right away, man. Like, I love that it's not just like this synonymous, like, all right, we're gonna do this perfect like sequence.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, because they're such different iterations. They don't all function the same. That's really great. Gets out of the point, but they have like a great conversation with each other. First off, Toby does the fucking my back, which is funny. This is the whole fucking cracking the back thing. Was funny imagery. But yeah, fix it up. But then yeah, Andrew's so fast. He's like, wow. So you just make web fluid in your body. He's so locked in. Toby's like, I'd rather not talk about this.
It's just like subconscious, man. Like, I don't think about
it. He's like, I don't, it's like, I don't do breathing. Breathing just happens. Like, are you teasing me? And Tom's like, no, it's just, we can't do that. We're just saying. We're just curious, like, how your function works. He's like, does it just come out of your wrist or anywhere else? Audience laughs every time. He's like, just the wrist, man. And it's a fun moment, and they're just like, hey, what are some of the craziest villains you guys have fought? It seems you met them. I fought an alien made of black goo once. He's like, oh, I fought an alien here and in space. He used purple. and Andrew's just like, I want to fight an alien. And Toby's like, I can't get over that you in space. All the wildness of these different things, and poor Andrew's just like, I feel lame because like, I fought a Russian.
Poor Paul
I fought a Russian in a rhino suit.
Which
Um,
goes back
the
to how
rhinoceros
ridiculous.
machine. He says.
Little nab at Sony there. I love it.
Yeah, I love
Right?
it. It was a playful jab. It's like 'cause all
Javier
Andrew-
Rod's like, okay, I get my little shout out in the credits, and we can put that line.
Which
in.
is
So-
stupid.
Andrew's villains were always so ridiculous compared to the Raimi ones, which were more
Yeah.
comic booky, which is funny.
Right.
Like, you get a crazy Russian guy in a rhino suit, guy randomly falls into electric eels.
It
and
was
turns
like
blue.
even more camp than Raimi's was in a way. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
well,
then
that
they
was
tried
full
to be
scale.
serious at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like Tobey to a point is just like, hold on, you're not lame, dial it back. I want you to know you're amazing. You are
Oh.
amazing.
I'm like,
Amazing
okay.
Spider-Man.
All right,
Okay.
all right, all
I
right.
get it. Yeah, okay.
You're amazing. Will you say it? It's like, no, I needed to hear that. Thank you. It's cute. It's cute. But then their spider senses start to tune. It's like, you guys feel that? Yeah. Boom, Electro's here. How you like the new? Good stuff. His design looks really great. The implementation
Love
of
it. Yeah.
the reactor with all the gears. It looks really cool. So yeah, they start to go up, and it's not even. I was really intrigued that it wasn't like a really like close up. Like, oh shit, we're jumping into action. Like, we're panned pretty far away from the pillars when they mask up and they start to run off. I had a couple audiences that did like, applaud, which is cool. But just the way they're like hopping in action.
Yeah, we don't really get the hero shots yet until later.
Right, which I think is even more rewarding when they get there. But Andrew's just like jumping around like, hey Max, I missed you, man. Like, he's just right back in it. I'm like, hey, web.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm watching Amazing Spider-Man 2 right now.
It's so good. It's like round 3. Let's go. Yeah, he's jumping around, and he's on the crown. He's like, Max, like, I just wanted to help you. He's like, you don't help me. That's all I ever wanted. And a meta line where Electro's just like, you ain't even the shit no more. and Andrew's just like,
You too.
God damn it. It's such great moments. They're like, I mean, they're getting their ass handed to them. Interesting that they chose to pit the lizard against Tobey, which I thought was cool. I mean, they had I'm sure they wanted to eventually get Connors to turn the lizard in that series. You can see it in the fucking Spider-Man 3 video game if you want.
There you go.
It's good stuff.
Great game.
But yeah, the different fights in different ways, they're going back and forth, and then they're just they're on comms. They're trying to go like, Peter, I need Electro's cure. I need Max's cure. Peter, I need the lizard's cure. And like, all right, I'm coming. And fucking
He's
Sandman.
like, I'm just coming. Shit.
Yeah, and then Sandman gets him. Is like, oh shit. And there's a great the great like domino effect of their uncoordinated selves, where like Tom's trying to pull himself out of a web, and that clotheslines Andrew to fall. And when he tries to get another web, that's on Tobey's face.
And Tobey's like, ugh.
It's like, gross. It's wild. It's so good. They're all just falling over. Even though Andrew falls, he's like, sorry.
I love the little regroup scene. It's so good. They're just like,
It's
all
so
right.
Yeah, because it's like what the hell's going
and it's
on?
like super windy and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, with the
Sandman. Yeah.
And, he's like, I keep saying P2, P2. I thought you were P2. He's like, Andrew's like, I'm not P.
Andrew sells the living shit out of this scene.
Oh, it's so good. He like gets
My
offended for a
favorite.
second. It's such a great line. He's like, I don't know what to do. They're like, I never worked as a team. Me neither. Well, I have. I'm not gonna brag, but I will. I was with the Avengers, and Tobey's great. He's like, the Avengers? That's great. What is that? Our audience dies. It's so good. And Andrew's like, is that a band? Are you in a band? The fucker's in Avenged Sevenfold or something. Dude, it's so good. And Tom's just like, there's like the Earth's mightiest. Toby's like, how's this helping?
Like, we gotta go now.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, they start. All right, trust your tingle. Coordinator attacks. Like, all right, cool. Knock them off the board one at a time. All right, let's go. Andrew, goddamn it, he's like, hey, I love you guys.
Peter 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, thank you. Yeah. There's a Peter 1, Peter 2. Peter 3.
Okay.
It's so good.
So chaotic. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I love you, thank you, and like just the smiles are all so great. And then they all mask up. They're all running unison. My
crowd
crowd,
Yeah, dude, it's
so
so
wild.
good.
They jump out. They're swinging. Crowd's going wild.
Dude, the shot of the moon.
Yes,
like
but
how it is.
wait. There's a cool shot where like they're webbing around, and like Tom takes the webs that they're by and yanks them forward. It's so.
I
cool.
didn't notice that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then that's when they start to swing in, and then it's boom, Tobey, Andrew, Tom. And my crowd's fucking losing it. And it's so great. My crowd's not only losing it there, okay, to a point earlier, people like I know some people be like, oh shit, like when fucking Andrew is like on the leaked photo
Right.
frame.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they go to jump, and we have like fucking Electro, Sandman, and Lizard up at the top, and they go to charge. And you remember how we were discussing the Brazil throw, the fucking invisible lizard
Yeah, I
kick.
saw that too.
And you see the frame, and there's some people who are just like, I've had a couple people, like a couple audiences, even applaud it because it was
They
that
know,
synonymous. Like it's so wild, and just to see it in frame is just like so rewarding.
He kicks the hell out of Lizard.
Oh, he does. He does a fucking like frontward
Full-
flip into
yeah.
it. It's so wild, dude. It's so good. But yeah, they started breaking down. I think the first person they end up curing is Sandman. They're
Sandman
doing
inside
like
the
tricks back
statue.
and forth. Okay,
Dude,
which is
that
so
pass,
cool.
that pass,
That
off
pass.
is so cool.
oh, it's so great because first, like Peter's engaging. Sorry, fuck. Andrew, Peter 3. Andrew is engaging with the lizard again. And he's like, "Hey, Dr. Connors," and he's like in a chokehold, and he's like, "Peter 1." He throws the thing, and they're like passing by, but he gets knocked down. It's there, but then when Andrew breaks out of it, he comes out and he does a fucking cool web zip. Fucking hell yeah!
Dude,
I thought of you. I was like,
that.
web zip.
I was like watching. I was like, "Hey!" At
You can
last.
always count on Andrew for the web zips.
Absolutely. And he's just like dodging Electro. He tosses it to Tom. Tom catches it with the swing, tosses it back to Tobey, who that whole progression was really cool because like when he was leading him in there, he was doing like flip after fucking flip inside of the damn thing, filling up and then drowning in the sand. But they caught it, got the collider going, and boom, it's fucking hey, it's Thomas Hayden Church from 2007.
But
But it's cool.
It looked like the same light from like the factory where he got his powers from. Was that a coincidence or
No, it's the scene when like he begins to turn muddy, like when Black Suit Spidey is
like when the light shines, like when he presses the button, like the light shines.
Oh, yeah, I think that is pretty intentional, like the collider matching.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see. I mean, obviously they're taking like the scene like when Marco's getting wet with mud, and I think they're maybe like reversing it because he went from like a aggravated vase to less. So I think that's the point to like get out of that sand moment to normal.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he does look a little wet, but I think that's kind of like again me filling in the fucking nerd blanks. I think it's like moisture back to the body of sand. That's cool. So yeah, that was great. They're going around like the next thing they got to cure like Lizard. They're trying, but also Electro is the biggest threat right now. He's so fucking OP with that damn arc reactor. And they're trying to take him down. And okay, god damn it, like he knocks off Tom and then Tobey, but then he's making Andrew fucking suffer. Like he's like in the conductor of the copper that the fucking statue's made out of, and he's just stuck there.
Andrew just taking it for like 5 minutes. I'm like,
he is like he was holding that fucking cure for so long.
For so long.
Also at that point, Lizard's breaking out, so then he takes notice that the portal is still open with Ned and MJ. So he goes after them because they also have the cube. So then Tom goes to try to rescue them, and then that leads Ned and MJ into the battle as well. Everybody's going around back with Electro. They're trying to take him down. Tobey's trying to come back through. But then tentacles out of nowhere are catching both the Spider-Men.
Dude.
And it's just like, oh shit. But in my brain, I'm also thinking, but
definitely don't cross. Yeah, 100%.
And I'm all about it. And so he stops them, and then he grabs onto Electro, rips off the arc reactor, takes the cure, punched it back on. It's just like, there you go. And a few audiences fucking applauded.
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
So satisfying.
The hero Octavius, man, that's so great. It's so rewarding. And god damn it, it's so good. They're doing that. Tom's running around with the Lizard. MJ throws the cure to him. He bites it. He starts to revert back. That's cool. He's starting, and then Ned opens the portal to try to hide the cube again. And I'm sure he was thinking like portal, fucking like Doctor Strange, and that brought Doctor Strange back. I had like one audience that clapped for that. Other than that, are just like Strange. Fuck. Yeah. And he's pissed, dude. He's like, where is he?
How long? He was like, I've been in the Grand Canyon for like
12 hours.
12 hours. Yeah.
Hanging there, yeah. But he's like, hold on. His plan's working. What plan? He's curing them. And you just see Connors coming back. It is reused from Amazing Spider-Man 1. But again, it's still framed well and it looks cool. I kind of find it weird that the cure is green and not blue. But nitpick, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it works.
It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, even Strange's like, I'll be damned. And it's like, did you open a portal? I don't know what's going on. But then you have like some nice moments. First off, you have a nice moment with Max and Andrew.
I like this. Yeah,
talking to each other because that's the first time Electro's seen it
scene.
without the mask.
Great.
It's so
scene.
great. He's like, Max. He's like, I'm all tapped out. You sure? Yeah.
I'm all tapped out, man.
Back to being a nobody.
Yeah.
You were never a nobody, Max. Yes, I was. You didn't see me. But you know what?
But he did see him. He told him about Spider-Man. Yeah. It was so good.
Right. It's so good. And then he's just like, you got a nice face. You're just a kid. You got that suit. You help a lot of poor people. I just thought you were gonna be black.
That cracks
my audience.
No, but yeah. Then also Andrew's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry."
You don't really know what to say to that. It's like,
yeah.
sorry.
And Max is just like, it's whatever. There's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. That's when all my audiences have watched it. I mean, it's both like, oh, it's a nice moment, but it's also like, yeah, it's Miles. It's cool. And then you go over to Otto, and god damn it, that is a fucking cool thought that he's holding the arc reactor and fucking the power of the sun in the palm of your hand, and fucking Tobey's there, and he pulls off his mask, and yeah, obviously like he's older, and
Peter, my boy,
even Otto's,
dude, it did not miss a beat. It was incredible.
It's so good. Otto's affected too. He's like, you're all grown up. How are you? And fucking call back to Spider-Man 2. Tobey's like, trying to do better. Just fuck. Like nobody. God damn it! Like one screening, like somebody with me has gone, oh, because like hell yeah, man.
It's emotional.
It's so good. And then Strange comes through with the portal. He's up at top. Tom's like, wait, we're so close. He's like, zip it. 12 hours.
He's so done with it.
Yeah, and then he's like, what the fuck is there, Spider-Man? And Tobey's like, you were at the Grand Canyon? Andrew, not missing the beat, he's like, he could have used your help. On top of it, dude.
Strange is like, I cannot fucking do this.
Yeah, and Strange's like, look, kid, I mad respect. That's his dialogue. Yeah, he's really impressed that he was able to give them all a second chance, but you have to send them back. And then just fuck it without out of nowhere, just close up on Tobey, turn around. Can the Spider-Man come out to play? Fucking Norman's back, and it's worse than ever. Yeah, man. He comes through, steals the cube. Cool that Otto's on our side because he tries to fucking stop him, and he grabs the glider. It's so cool. And then Strange with the rope is so good. Pulls it back. Norman he slices one of the tentacles off with the glider to get away. And Strange gets the cube back, but God's great sense with the spider sense with like the fucking what's is it a dolly zoom when the fucking,
it's
like,
a dolly zoom.
Yeah, like on all three of their faces because of the spider sense, and then it's revealed like as soon as like the audio cuts out in the film and you just see like the bomb, like you hear the briefest like from the audience just like
yeah.
It's like Strange, no, boom, fucking the orange fucking explodes, and it's like god damn it, the spell's out. Strange is doing his best to contain it. The whole construction is falling. The shield collapses. All the construction is starting to fall.
This is the scene.
This is the scene. MJ fucking falls back. I guess we were wrong. They did not comp out Andrew from that shot from standing right next to her.
No, they didn't.
That literally was fucking debris. We're just seeing shit. But yeah, she's falling. And without a beat, Tom jumps, and it's really great. It's really great how they framed it, I think. Like the way it's falling, he's going to grab her. We saw in the trailer. And dude, my audience without a beat are just like, no, not again. Like every time, it's so good. And then just when Peter gets shoved by the glider away.
I love the slow motion of it too. Like his whole body control.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And MJ's just like oh fuck. Like
yeah, she sees it happening. She's like, oh shit.
And it's just oh my god. And like the whole audio is like cut out. And then Andrew's just silently screaming and he's diving after her. And again, my crowd's losing it. It's just like, Andrew, go. And he catches her, and dude, the biggest damn cheers like since they arrived. It's so good, dude.
And there's cheers followed quickly by
because he's just like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. She confirms it, and
are you okay?
He's welling up. Yeah, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. but like,
Oh,
ah!
that was deep. That was great.
And you said he shouldn't.
I still think I would have liked Peter to do it, but
I do too. I actually don't know if I like it that much. I think it's fine.
I like the
There's
execution of it though.
so many other times.
I agree.
I know. But I still do like.
But this is where MJ is
execution.
centered in the fight. You know, like there's no other because she's watching after this. I'm pretty sure she's just watching after this because
Well, everyone's watching pretty much.
yeah, because then it
Well,
just becomes
everyone's getting their bearings because we just fucking
yeah, dude. And then the sun's like coming up.
Sun's coming up. They land on the shield. Frankly, great shot where like when Tom's hanging on the glider, he's trying to break through to the bombs and he grabs one, ignites it, punches it back in. That's so cool.
This whole fight really impressed me. Like not only character wise, it came through from Tom of like, this is it. Like this is the fight or flight right here.
Yeah,
he flips him over and then like slams him onto the thing. He's
crazy,
dude.
But also the buildup of it is great because like he crashes. Norman gets up, takes off his goggles. He's like, poor Peter, too weak to send me back. And Tom just fucking with all the fucking rage is like, nah, I just wanted to kill you myself. And Norman's loving that. He's like, attaboy. And he goes for it. God, the fight. The choreography is really good. He webs Norman to the ground on the feet, and he just punches him to the ground. He decks him down, and then he goes to. A lot of my eyes went ooh when Tom impacts when he dodges because it fucking bends the metal. To show how powerful the punch was. And then Norman breaks out the fucking blade, and they're fighting through. There's like one time where Tom got scuffed by it, but he's still fighting through. He did the fucking like giant fucking slam down.
Yeah. And dude, and then it just starts to get to the point where he's on the ground just punching him, and then we cut to
it's like Spider-Man 1 a lot.
Yeah, I think we cut to MJ and Ned seeing it, or we cut
I thought it was Tom and Peter or Andrew and
Andrew and
I think it was a mix. Mostly it was centering on Tobey and Andrew because
they look at each other and they're like, oh shit,
look at this motherfucker.
They run up to it, and then like we see a bit more of the punches, and it cuts back to them like moving focus from Andrew or from Tobey to Andrew, and with the slightest nod before it cuts.
They shake their head,
and then Peter's like laying in. The score takes over.
Dude, I was freaking out. He picked up the glider.
Yeah, he's dragging it over, and he's going for it, man. And then Tobey just hops into frame to protect Tom from becoming that murderous self, because after a few moments of just like waiting there. The feeling does pass, and then my boy gets stabbed.
Dude, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently I don't know if they actually test screened this movie, but apparently in a cut they killed Tobey, and people didn't like that.
I heard a very long time rumor back that like Tobey potentially died, and I didn't like that at all.
What the heck?
Didn't want that to happen, and that's why since I heard like both, I was really unsure what the outcome was going to be because at that moment I was legit thinking like, fuck, they did that. And that's something I didn't want to happen.
Yeah. As soon as he got stabbed, I'm like, oh, he's fine. Right. Like,
I don't get you.
We've seen 3 of his movies. Like this guy
I know.
Knocked out of him in every one of his movies.
Tobey.
Like, especially Spider-Man 3. So I was like, this guy's fine. He gets stabbed by a glider.
Well, my brain was going through like the fucking Harrison Ford effect of like, what if
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I didn't budge though.
It was like a mix of that with again like the potential like what if like back.
I just think it's funny. Then they cut to the next shot and they pick him up and there's just no mark at all. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Well, they stabbed him like in the back. We don't really like look behind there. But all my audiences were hooked that happened, that he was dying. We were, and like there were so many shots where they cut back to him. Like first off, they do cure Norman. I think he had like one final word just to taunt Peter that I may have struck the blow, but you were the one that killed her. And then he just has that final goblin laugh. Andrew throws the cure to Tom and he stabs him in the neck and ignites it. And then real Norman's back, horrified at what's happened.
Willem is so good in this moment.
It's so good. And then like even to the point where he leaves, I'm not filled with like fuck you in my mind. I'm just like, God, I feel so sad for you, man.
He looks down at Tobey. He's like, what have I done? It's like, oh,
Yeah, he's like Peter. Fucking, it's so good. But then Andrew runs to check on Toby, like, "Hey, you good? Yeah, I've been stabbed before." He's like, "Oh, good, good, good."
yeah, oh, good. Yeah, that's nice.
It is another great point where he's like, "Is that happening or am I dying?" I'm like, no, that's happening. As
Yeah.
people
I
stuff.
love this guy. Yeah.
It's so good. Like, also, that point when like Strange is trying to like conceal it, but it's still like cracking through is like really cool to see.
I can't contain it.
Also, I think a smart play of like pulling him out of like the fight to fucking end the fight fast because he's focused somewhere like more pressing. So yeah, then Tom has to go take care of, and this is like it's the beginning of the end, man, where he comes up and he's like, "Can't you just cast a spell, but the original way, like before you messed it?" He's like, "It's too late. They're starting to come through. I can't stop it." We got some quick glimpses of some different type of like Spider-Verse things. Like specifically, I can only like pinpoint. I can only make out 3. I saw Kraven, Scorpion, and Rhino. Bit more like comic accurately looking because they could just have fun with it.
Craven with the staff, right? Was he that one?
Yeah, he was Kraven with his staff. There was like a literal like scorpion shape like right next to him.
Cool.
With, like,
People were saying they thought they saw the multiverse guy from What If. What's his name?
The Watcher.
Watcher.
The Watcher. I'm like, I didn't see him.
Could be it.
I don't know. I think also like a lot of those like the normal humanoid figures are probably other spider people that I really need to freeze frame to look at.
Yeah, I saw Spider Gwen. No, I'm kidding.
I honestly maybe I feel like I saw a hooded person. I don't know.
John Watson can be like, yeah, sure. Yeah,
I'm on viewing 7. I'm like, is it Silk? I don't know. Like,
Madam Web.
It's called intern number 5.
I fucked Madam Web on one of them too. I'm just like, everything is possible. But yeah, it's a great thing when Peter's just like, all right, they're coming here because I'm Peter Parker, right? Make it so that they don't remember who Peter Parker is. And it's so good because Strange again with the empathy because he does genuinely care for Peter. He's like, no, it's like, but it would work, right? Yeah, it would work, but you'd have to understand that everybody who knows and loves you,
including me.
Yeah, he says we, and he freezes. We wouldn't remember who you are, and he's like, I know. Do it. It's like fuck, man. It's so
this is when your heart starts to sink.
Yeah,
you're like, oh no. But also, I'm not smiling.
This is the most Spider-Man sacrifice
exactly right
I've ever seen. Oh,
I'm
so
not
perfect.
smiling, but I'm happy that this is happening. Because me and Nathan, the whole podcast, we've been saying this for the longest. Like this movie has to end with him having his identity gone. Like, I couldn't see any other way this movie would end. And I'm glad it got executed as well as it was.
And I had I tweeted out a thing as like my guess that like that kiss shot from the trailer is like this ending, ending this way, and it has, and it's goddamn, it's so impactful because Strange is just like, you better go say your goodbyes. You don't have long. He's like, thank you, sir. Call me Steven. Like, it's so good, man. But yeah, he does hop down and he goes to visit Tobey and Andrew one final time, and it's really cute because he's trying to like muster the words. It's not as like transparent as Andrew being like, I love you guys, but you know that's what he wants to say. And it's so impactful because it's the fact of like he's seen other people who are him who have gone through such struggles that he identifies with, so he connects with that because he's not alone, and he just doesn't know how to say it. And they're just like Peter, you know, it's what we do. And he's like, all right, I gotta go see MJ and Ned. And he loses it. He gives him a big old hug. A few of my audiences be clapping, and it's great.
It's what we wanted. It's the scene from our dreams, like all the Spider-Man giving each other hugs. And I'll see you again. It's like, oh, maybe we'll.
I hope.
In the future, you never know.
In my heart, please.
Money.
Is everyone just going back to where they were taken from? Or I guess it doesn't really matter. But
yeah, they're going.
It doesn't really matter. I guess though.
I don't think they're at the exact. The thing is, they're not.
Where does Norman go back to? I was thinking about that. Like
that is an interesting thing because, like, when I'm thinking about it, like
he goes back.
Like where
the glider's coming, he's like, oh.
I remember people had the theory. Okay, back on my nerd shit. Just to break it down, when Norman first arrives, he's fully like head to toe in the Goblin costume. It's not dirtied up from that fucking end battle fight. So if anything, he's probably taken. And it's after the point that he knows the identity of Spider-Man, so he's probably taken at the point like somewhere by the bridge scene, probably.
Okay.
a little before that, probably before the MJ abduction, if I had to guess. So
Interesting.
I just figured it was like right before the cemetery fight. Like, how did they get to the cemetery again?
okay, so when
Norton surprises him there, or
no,
wait.
it's a thing where once Toby saves the kids on the
Moon.
trolley and then gets MJ down for safety, he gets roped up by the goblin and dragged by the glider into the
Yes.
cemetery
Into
and crashes. And he's just taken off guard and he's getting beaten down. So that's where he would go back to.
But either way, yeah. No pin by the glider.
Yeah.
It's very funny as hell. Toby's like, damn it, not again.
Now is fucking Max gonna go back in the grid? I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt Max goes back. Yeah, it's magic, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
happy
point.
now. They're safe. Yeah. But them being alive changes everything. That's crazy.
The multiverse is changed.
Multiverse is
alternate
multiverse,
timelines.
yeah.
Of course, yeah. To that point, it is a branch line. The movies
Yeah.
exist still. They still
Yeah.
happen, and especially they still happen in the context of what Toby and Andrew lived through.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Branches, guys.
Yes.
It's not Back to the Future.
TV is out of whack right now. They busy.
It's like, fuck.
I'll leave it. Their box office was good. I'll leave it.
Yeah. Another branch is fine.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was a great moment. Then they all start to no. Hold on. Sorry. We go and visit MJ and Ned, and this is the point where Peter has to say goodbye, and he there's no fluent way to say it. He just has to say, "You're gonna forget me." And they're both like, "What are you talking about?" And goddamn, it's hitting hard because of course, like MJ's getting choked up, but so is Ned, and Ned's emotions is really hitting too.
I feel more for Ned. Ned's known Peter since they were little kids. And I feel bad
to what we know.
to what we know, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's known. It's just fact. He's known Ned longer than MJ.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, he's not going to know his best friend is gone. And it's like, I can't imagine saying goodbye to my two best friends in the world. And it's just like, God, it's heartbreaking. And then just going through the trilogy, right? Like everything they've gone through, like saving the world, helping out Vulture, guy in the chair, like everything they ever went through is just gone and permanently. That's heartbreaking, man.
But you know what? I'm
happy.
I hate that I was like happy during. I wasn't happy during the scene, but I was like,
evil man.
yes, consequence.
Okay. Yeah.
Stakes that stick. Choices that make this is the choices that make and refine a hero. I'm loving every second.
It's a trope I die for. I live for
Me
this.
too.
Like this is why Your Name.
Let's go.
I immediately think of Your Name. It's like our memories are slightly gone, or maybe they're not, and then you see them at the end. It's like, what is your name again? It's like, oh my god.
That scene is also really, really good. I was like it's like purposely like kind of awkward, but also like it gets so sincere. It's so sincere because Peter man, he's just on that edge of like, do I?
He really is breaking it down. There, like he's being very transparent. There is no other way.
No other way.
There's no way else to fix this, and he can't let the universe crumble because of his selfishness. Like this is. He
doesn't want to be like Goblin. He doesn't want to be selfish like Goblin.
Again, the great power and responsibility. This is
100%.
This is the end all be all of that mantra. This is how it must be, and he's still optimistic as he
Absolutely.
is
because he find you.
I'll find you. I'll make you remember. I promise. Ned comes in. He's like, you promise? I was like, yeah, I promise. Like of course I do.
And this is, remember, we were laughing when Tom was talking about like, our final scenes were emotional because I never thought when I'd see Ned and Zendaya again. We're like, why would he even question that? Of course they're going to be in the next trilogy. But now after this movie, you're like, wow, maybe not. No wonder it was so emotional because you really don't know. Like,
I know
you don't know if they're going to be in the next movie or not.
MJ's going to be in the next trilogy. Let's.
Hold on.
You don't know how it's going to work out. It's a totally different.
She could not show up till the second movie. We really don't know.
Exactly.
MIT is in Boston.
That's what I'm saying. MIT's in Boston. Like, was he swing through Boston?
Yeah, he just got his apartment to pay in New York.
Yeah, so I mean, that's gonna be awkward. Like you don't know how are they gonna do summer vacation, so she has an excuse to go back to New York. You never know.
I mean,
but either way,
also I'm pretty sure Peter's gonna end up going to ESU, like in the comics.
Yeah,
I thought so too. Yeah.
But yeah, the whole like the consequence of this finale. I mean, not to be in comparison to Iron Man, but to be in comparison with like the final sacrifice for like one of the biggest heroes that we have. Like it's one thing that like that Tony gave his life to save the universe itself, and give everybody second chances, and for everybody to live on. Like he died doing that, and everybody lived on his memory and stuff. But like I feel like it's probably even more emotionally heartbreaking for Peters, because it's not just he made this similar sacrifice play of second chances, not only for the villains but like for like the world to survive the multiverse. It's the fact that he's gonna live it, and he is going to be alone. Like he will have saved everybody and nobody will know it, and he's the one who suffers the consequences of it alone.
Which it hurts.
But yet he prevails, man, and it's
Yeah.
the rush this last 5 minutes gave me.
Oh,
insane.
It's
my
beautiful.
favorite part of the entire movie.
100% easily.
But hold on real quick before we get to like the coffee shop and stuff. He does say his goodbye. He gives a kiss to MJ. A couple of ounces clapped, and it's beautiful.
It's okay. I'm kidding.
It's so great. And then he hops.
I bet Tom purposely like messed up the kiss. He was like, "Let's do a take three." Let's do the kiss again.
Okay. That's the day he asked me out. No, but it's seriously, it's a great moment, and like he does. God, there's so much like heavy weight in like the handshake between him and Ned, because it feels loose, because it's just like, God damn it, like they're leaving, and then he pulls him in just really hard.
And it's a good parallel, because they do the handshake earlier on and it's so friendly. Then they do the handshake here and it means so much more.
Yeah, I mean they've done it in like every movie, but they did it like 3 times in this one, and it's just it's heavy, man. It's really well done. And then before he hops away, he hops like on the pillar and takes like one final look back, and just the framing of it and the score is so beautiful.
Great, yeah,
it's so good.
MJ, 19, right? No,
like 22. But seriously, MJ. Actually, if you want to find track 19 in the movie, it's when Max and Andrew are talking to each other after the cure. That's when it kicks through. But anyway. It's a beautiful moment, because before they said their goodbye, MJ said, "I love you," and Tom wanted to say it too, but she was like, "Just tell me when you find me," which it's gonna hurt a little later.
Yeah.
But then he hops up before leaving to take one last look back, and she mouths like, "Once again, I love you," and then he swings away, and Strange is casting the spell.
Okay, yeah.
And he just sends it out. And like, this is it, and it just lingers on the shot of MJ looking up. That then
great transition scene, right? Because she looks up, and they combine that with the
it's
wide shot of New York City and the statue.
Yeah, with the statue, with the sunrise coming up, and you get the news report from Jameson talking about Spidey.
Menace, right?
Yeah, he's like, if he was a true hero, he'd unmask himself, and because only true heroes don't hide their true intentions.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck you, bro. It's whatever.
He's a true hero.
Yeah, he is, and that's our indication that like it worked, and he did it. So where he's walking through the streets. It's Christmas time. It's snowy.
Again, we all predicted this. We're like, this is the end of the movie.
Which is
the end of the movie.
Which is funny, because like, I think I had like a slight misdirect of not thinking about it, because we saw MJ in the coffee shop early in the film, and I was like, oh.
yeah. I guess I was wrong about that, but they do it again here, so I was like, okay.
And I'm just like, I hope I'm not right, and I was.
Yeah.
And so like he walks in, and then MJ takes notice behind him of Ned coming in. Okay, I just want to say real quick, there was this like weird energy in all my screenings that for like a split second, I think the audience believes Ned and MJ are a couple for like 1 second. I don't know why.
How do you know? Like, what makes you get that feeling?
Not me, but like there's like, oh, I guess it's just like,
dude, I kind of got that aura in my theater too.
Yeah, it's odd because it's just like, oh, they're meeting up at a coffee shop. Just like, hey, one sec. I don't know. It's weird.
It's weird. I didn't see that. No.
Boys and girls can't be friends, I guess.
Exactly. Oof.
Terrible idea. Don't.
Gender
I'm saying
norms.
the idea is dumb. Like,
Yeah.
obviously they can be friends. But yeah. Anyway, it ships real quick. It's just like, how can I help you? He's like, my name's Peter Parker.
Love this.
I would like a coffee. Like, he can't say it because, like, again, like, what's Flutie saying? It's like, hey, you were my girlfriend. If you remember that London stuff, I'm the Spider-Man. Like, it's like, what? No, that's too confusing.
Yeah, I can see Peter's mind spinning here. It's like I could have this woman live her life peacefully without me possibly ruin it. But even then, it's like I don't want to be a hindrance to her successful life ahead that she's got going for her. She's in MIT now. I don't want to be a hindrance to anything going on. That's why he stays in New York.
I want to address this comment that Ben said because I've also been seeing it going around on Twitter. The events that happen and transpired like through the movie still happen. It's just you remove every instance of like the knowledge and engagement of Peter Parker. So like the events of like London and the attacks with Spider-Man still exist, still happen. It's still in their knowledge. They're
both on the quiz team.
Yeah, they still are of a function of knowing that like they worked with Happy, who works with Spider-Man, because that's addressed later too. All this stuff, yeah, the decathlon team, all that. It's all a matter that like brings them together to be friends for sure. It's just you've removed the Peter Parker variable,
which goes into the next one where. Oh, sorry, you continue with the scene first.
Okay, yeah. So he's just waiting for his coffee to be made. MJ grabs a netted donut. They're just like they're friends and it's nice. But yeah, they're ringing up and he
did he get a free donut?
Yeah, they're stale. Who cares?
Okay.
She said they're stale. I mean,
pay for that shit.
It's the benefits of friends, I guess.
Pay for that shit. She gets fired the next day.
Right. But yeah.
Great scene. I just love everything about the scene. Like, this is how I wanted the movie to end. Her forgetting who he was, even though it's sad.
I'm pretty sure she's still wearing the necklace too.
The black Dahlia.
Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. God, it's so good. And then he's like, "Are you excited for MIT?" It's like, "Oh yeah, you know, usually I just expect disappointment." And Peter finishes it, so you never get disappointed, right?
And she's like, "Yeah,
but this time I guess it feels different." And then the way this was cut was beautiful, and I find such deeper meaning in it on so many rewatches. He starts to like reach for the note in his pocket, and it's like cutting back and forth. And before he goes to and like MJ's ringing up, but first like she like tucks her hair back for a second, and Peter goes to like look up to speak, but he's frozen, and he just sees the bandage on her head, and he just asks he asks like are you okay? And she's like, yeah, it doesn't really hurt anymore. Which I find double meaning in that, like, without the accompanying danger of Spider-Man,
right?
She's safe, and he sees that.
Yeah. He sees that. That's what I thought earlier too. Is like he could tell her, but like that bandage, that wound reminds him, like, okay, this is what happens.
It's gonna be reopened,
and just reaffirming the power responsibility thing of like keeping your loved ones safe.
Classic Spider-Man.
Here it is again. It's the Parker luck / curse, and it's just here, but it's greater good. And so she asks, like, is there anything else? And he says, he's paused for a second, getting teary-eyed, and he's like, no, thank you.
That whole scene is so good.
And he just says, I'll see you around, and he walks out, and even she's just kind of like looking for a sec, but that's it. And then it cuts to the funeral. Not the funeral, it's just the graveyard alone. It's just Peter, and there's the tombstone for May, and it's mirroring the game where it says May Parker, if you help someone, you help everyone. From the working with feasts and stuff, and that's beautiful. And Peter's there alone, and I'd said this in DMs before. There's a lot of like similar framing of Tom with like what Andrew's movies did. Like when he's fighting Electro, he was like pulling the webs together like Andrew did. Obviously, like the whole case with the fall. There was like another one that I took notice that was really cool, but then also this one, just like the framing of like around the gravestone in the wintertime. It looks very similar.
Every Peter Parker, you're not a Spider-Man unless you go to
Funeral.
Cemetery, funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
But even like the
I-
framing of it looked like the same buildings in the back. I'm like, God damn it, why?
Yeah. But I like the conversation here was so important and it's so beautiful. It reminded me of a couple of lines from Attack on Titan, but I'll let you go.
I'll let the what's the person that writes down all the lines in the courtroom?
Fuck.
It's like
That's the C,
adjudicator.
right?
Stenographer or
Yeah.
what
The
is
writer.
yeah, whatever. I feel like I'm that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, Ben. You addressed the thing. Sorry. I gave him the answer. Anyway.
But yeah, Happy says some great stuff here.
Happy comes in and he just he says, how'd you know her? He says through Spider-Man. He's like, same, because those moments still happened.
The moment still happened. Yep.
But just no Peter Parker in the memory. And so Happy says, I lost someone important a while back, and they're gone. And I'm paraphrasing, I think, but he says something along the lines of just like, they're gone, and you think like the impact that they had, is it still like meaningful? Like, does it carry on?
And I love it. And then Peter's so confident on his comeback. Like,
and he's like, yeah, like it will, it does. Like, will people carry on? Like, they will. He's like, how do you know?
It's like, because you remember them. It's like they lived through you.
Yeah.
I forget the exact word, but it's like their memories through us. We get to continue on what they gave us.
Yeah.
It's not like because somebody died, their memories, their goals are dead. No, like the people that knew them, which hurts even more because people forget who Peter is now. But like the people who knew them could continue to pass down their goals, which always works. Like even if somebody dies, like because they have friends and family, it's like their being continues on even after death, which is so beautiful here. And again, and this also goes into how Peter might still be able to work with the Avengers because like they know Spider-Man, they just don't know Peter, which is going to be very comic accurate. It happens all the time now. So it's exciting stuff. But yeah, this scene really hits deep. It's really important. It's really like, again, along with the May scene before she died, it's the driving force of the movie. It's like, even though everything that happened, like, even though everybody forgets your memory, Peter, you're still going to, your life is still going to have meaning. You're going to be fine.
Absolutely. And it's just, it's so beautiful. And he just says, I'll see you around. He's like, yeah, nice to meet you.
Oh,
gosh.
It hurts.
But let's talk about it. Snow. Web slinging in the snow.
No, you get the apartment system.
Oh my god. Okay, he gets the apartment. We get rent. Rent's due on the first.
No, hold on. The meaning of Palpatine.
The Palpatine thing. You put the Palpatine on his table.
Okay, but seriously, when he like walks in and it's just this quaint, tiny little apartment that looks pretty similar to the PS4 game. Once again, it's really interesting because he's, it's a fresh start. It literally is a fresh start. It's the beginning. He starts bringing in his stuff. Frankly, I think he had more than fucking Tobey. Tobey didn't have a fucking kitchen, a tiny kitchen.
Tobey was fucked.
Oh yeah, everything was janky as hell. I heard one person on the screen was like, "It's Tobey's apartment." I'm like, "No, it's not."
It was not.
But anyway, yeah, everyone's on the hype. It's really nice. He starts bringing in stuff. Yeah, he's got the GED stuff. He's not gonna be able to get into MIT or anything. But like I said, I think he's gonna go to ESU.
The GED thing was fascinating. He's doing that
he doesn't exist as a high school.
Instead of finishing high school, he doesn't exist as high school because they don't remember Peter Parker, which means he never got into high school.
It voids his whole
academic
career.
He gets his GED, which means he still can get into college. It's just like we said, ESU probably.
ESU, it gets muddy because like I figured like a lot of like documentation stuff would be erased because that's like any remnant of Peter Parker has to be gone for like the spell to make sense.
It makes sense now, like after everything, that why Aunt May had to die. Because if Aunt May was still alive and people forgot who Peter was, that'd be kind of weird. It's like, how does your aunt not remember who you are? It would just be very weird. So. I think for them, it's like, okay, let's just have Aunt May out of here. He has no more family that could possibly remember him. So all done. But yeah, then we get Carson's scene, right?
Yeah, the Palpatine figure sits down. No, but it is cute.
It's credits, right?
No, but it is like a cute moment that like when he's unpacking the stuff and he sets down the Palpatine figure for Ned, he keeps the coffee cup from MJ, and he has the sewing machine. Dude, when I saw that, I was so taken aback because it's literally just like the bare bone. It's not like a new suit implemented Stark Tech. It's not like the baggy sweats he started out with.
Happy, dude.
He's sewing his own spandex suit, just like the OG comics, and
like Andrew and Tobey.
Yeah, and those look very professional though. This actually looks like thread and needle for sure.
Yeah, dude.
It's just the bare bones, and it's there. But then also he's like crawling out with a new suit, and it looks shimmery like Andrew's. And I'm just like, wow, man! Like, oh my god, a new suit. And he goes to swing, and he's swinging through, and you get like those little glimpses. It again, very PS4 of the way he's sliding for the suit reveal.
Dude,
but the way the light hits of just like his new spider on his back and his front, which I think are inspired by his meeting of Tobey and Andrew, but it's also custom enough to be his own thing.
Yeah,
which is beautiful. And it's just angled and detailed perfectly. There's no like black accents or anything. It's just straight red and blue. And the lenses of the eyes still emote a bit because like his homemade sweatsuit had that too. He fine-tuned them for his senses. And also PS4 Spidey does that. It's a thing Peter can do, and it helps with the emote to still continue, but it's bare bones just spandex suit, and it's just him, and he's swinging through. He's alone. So fucking sad. It's alone at Christmas time. But you know,
maybe he also goes to the Barton family dinner.
Yeah,
we're all there.
Episode 6. I saw some tweet about that today because like there was a TV spot of like the ice rink, and someone was like swinging down on a zip line. They're like, "Oh, what if Peter Parker swings down?"
Like it's in the same spot, but
same spot. Yeah,
but it is beautiful. Like he's checking his phone for the precinct reports of just like the crime nearby, and he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It feels really. Yeah, it feels really like we're back down to the basics of why we love Spider-Man. He has the crime report thing on his phone, classic Spider-Man outfit now,
and the score is just swelling with Giacchino's theme, and he's falling down, and we zoom in on the eyes, and it cuts to black. 3 is the magic number, plays.
We did it.
It paid off.
Ending all around. Love it.
Yeah,
it really is. It's so beautiful. It has become a favorite of mine for sure. So well done. Beautiful little credits. The style of it looks really cool. I love the credits of being everyone's sketched, and then the Tobey and Andrew credit, which is something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
so great. And then it just wraps up Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like, wow. Then we're in Mexico.
3 hours and 20 minutes. I think we did it.
We did it.
This is our longest one. But you want to talk the post credits real quick? The Venom one's not that important. I mean, it's kind of important.
It's important in regards.
We can talk about Doctor Strange on whatever day because that's like a whole conversation.
That's fair.
Yeah, we can do that.
Or no, okay, it's fine. But yeah, the Venom thing was interesting. I mean, my first initial thought was like, like he just got here and then he's gone.
It's hilarious. They had him in here and then just take him right out.
They literally had a 2 end credit scene arc, just like
it's pretty funny. It's like reversal,
and even Venom's just like, we just got here, no. But you know, it was funny, it was intriguing.
2 months of people theorizing, so we can have Eddie versus Tom, and then we're gonna have this. And this
My thread is nothing now.
Look, we could just have our own Eddie Brock here. It's fine.
No, absolutely, you're right. But yeah, it is cool that we had like the symbiote's left behind, and it moves, and it cuts to black, and that's pretty cool. We're gonna have a legit like symbiote arc for Peter, and if we have our own Eddie Brock, we can do it from scratch properly. And
I've been proper rivalry.
And I've been seeing people pitch like, yeah, sure, let's have Andrew Spidey go against Tom Hardy. That's cool.
Yeah, we can.
That would be cool too.
Separate things. Yeah,
I would love that too. Not in his Amazing Spider-Man 3, of course. I want Amazing Spider-Man 3 to be what we talked about earlier.
Andrew's in Venom 3.
And Andrew could be in Venom 3. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
But I want Amazing Spider-Man 3 if they ever do it. They probably not, but if they ever do it, I don't want it to be crammed in with Venom. You know, I'm tired of symbiotes cramming into my third Spider-Man movies. But yeah, going forward here, it's just very exciting for Peter. This reboot really was. This is the longest origin story for Peter Parker, basically.
It's
3
6
movies,
episode arc,
or 3 movies in a 6-episode arc of Peter thrust into the MCU,
3 crossovers and 3 solos.
getting sacrifice after sacrifice, losing Tony, losing Aunt May. It's just he lost a lot throughout his adventures in the MCU. Now he's back to being alone, without any friends. And moving forward, we get into his college trilogy, new friends, possibly new villains. Hopefully, they finally tie up the Scorpion. That's my biggest hope for a 4th Spider-Man movie, is to do with the Scorpion villain.
Mm-hmm.
So the Vulture,
Or
who will be in Morbius.
yeah,
Now does not know Peter's identity.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
He he knows he fought Spider-Man, but he doesn't know it's Peter.
Right.
yeah. So that's gonna be very interesting.
I want Craven instead.
I want Craven instead too, but I just don't think that's likely now that.
Well, I mean, like,
with him.
down
Second
the road,
movie.
proper Sinister
Yeah.
6. They want to do.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I feel like they're gonna do Venom or not Venom. They're gonna do Scorpion, and then we're gonna get Fantastic Four connections. Now we have a symbiote.
I just don't find Scorpion that interesting. Like, I don't know. He was fine.
You thought
Mac
Vulture?
Gargan?
Yeah, I disagree because I think Vulture on paper doesn't sound as interesting either. It's like a guy with the wings.
Yeah, true.
But then
I guess I just don't know enough about Scorpion, like in the comics, or I mean, I guess I see him in the animated show, but
I think you can do a lot with Scorpion. I don't know. It would be exciting. Scorpion, probably some other low-level villains as well, maybe.
Mhm.
You never know. Scorpion and Kingpin, now that we have Daredevil and all this, you never know.
yeah,
I would like to see a proper Daredevil team up, like in
That would
costume.
be
Happen.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he going to have another love interest in this next trilogy now? And another best friend? Is Harry coming back? Is the Oscorp Corporation ever going to come back? There's a lot of interesting questions moving forward. I'm excited.
And when will the movie be? Probably 2024 at the earliest.
I'm seeing 2024 at the earliest. Even though right now, thinking ahead, it's already past with Marvel movies with Blade.
I'm gonna say 2025
I wouldn't mind that either.
because I know Tom was saying he's
He's
expecting a break with the character, and that and at this point we know he has one more like MCU contract thing, and at this point it probably will be Fantastic Four, if anything.
Which also could be coming out in 2024. That's the theory right now. Fantastic Four and Blade are the biggest ones for 2024.
And the prospect sounds so beautiful of like being friendly with the Fantastic Four, because also in the comics they like really like hold Peter as effectively like a family member, like down the line, like they really like close. And the thought of like using, like they're setting up the symbiote arc. Reed Richards plays a part in like the understanding what that is and telling Peter that it's alive.
Panels go around. It looks cool.
Yeah.
And also, God damn it, the prospect of Peter losing his suit, getting ripped up or something because it's just thread, and like he borrows a Fantastic Four suit, but there's no mask, so he has to wear the fucking plastic bag.
Yeah, paper bag.
All these beautiful setups are.
I thought you would definitely do something like that.
Oh, absolutely! You gotta do Bagman.
So yeah, in general, I think this first trilogy was really good. I think 3, 1, 2 is how I'd rank it easily.
I think I would probably do that too.
It is just a very fun, very emotional ending. Again, this ending, I can't talk about it enough. It's a great ending from the way they used. Again, my biggest gripe going into this movie was the joke people made. It's like, is Tom still going to be the hero of this movie? There's so many people in this movie, but like
I was surprised. Yeah, they
which
did.
is why.
Pulled off.
Yeah, it's why I love Spider-Verse. I think Spider-Verse is still my favorite, but like the way all these not villains, but just the way all these people and villains and heroes, they all focus on Peter. Even Green Goblin, the main guy, focuses on Peter's journey, and it all works just so well. Everything comes together so nicely. It's a great superhero movie all around. It's a good message. Peter's still the center of the story. Man, it works.
Whew.
Yeah. Cinema, right, guys?
Yeah, honestly, would I have watched it 10 times if it wasn't?
Probably.
Hey, no. Morbius is only getting like 2 max. Yeah, man. What a time. It really is just so beautiful. I still want to watch it again. I really do, man. I have not gotten tired. It does hold up. I think it does get better on repeat viewings, and it really does just lock me in like again and again. Like and granted, like the audiences like have helped. It's been like a beautiful experience with them, But even just on their own, like so many of these scenes have just like nailed it. Like there's not one scene where I'm taken out. I really just I adore it.
Mm-hmm. I concur.
Yes. So when will you get the Future Foundation suit? When's that happening? But yeah, man, this has been a fun time. Carson, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me. I don't know. Even though we just did our rewatch, I kind of want to just pop on Spider-Man 1.
Go again.
I'm feeling it lately, so I may do that over the next few days.
Have you finished the series on Disney Plus? You could do that too.
I could do that too.
Commentaries.
Yeah. I haven't finished the rest of whatever season we were on, or we finished season 3.
We finished season 3.
Season 3. Yeah, so now I'm on season 4.
We can
I gotta do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Still got to get through the rest of Attack on Titan because I've been taking my sweet time.
I was about to ask. I was like, have you not finished?
We haven't touched it because it's just like every episode is so emotional now, and I'm just like, dude, I just need a break. Like,
yeah, it's deep. It's amazing.
So, but yeah, that's all I'll be doing, and just finally on break for 20 days, so relaxing, seeing family and friends, and Christmas and Matrix on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I get back either my birthday on the 28th or the 29th. So around the premiere of the Book of Boba Fett, one could say.
I heard he's ruling with respect at the feet.
Ruling with respect. Yeah.
Okay.
The sands of Tatooine.
Speak freely.
Oh God. I'm so glad, by the way, it's not Hype, but they said everything from the first episode.
Which is awesome. Amazing.
There's surprises every episode, apparently. Okay, we'll see. You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. Woo. This is our longest episode yet? Probably about to.
Yeah.
The Last of Us.
It's about to hit the Harry Potter one.
Nice.
Keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, Matrix on Wednesday, Kingsman on Saturday. I can't wait to see those movies. I might see Pig tonight.
Yes.
It's between that and Attack on Titan. We'll see how much time I got before I fall asleep. But yeah, I've been tweeting about Attack on Titan a lot. I've tweeting about Young Justice, anime. Yeah, pretty much it. Buying Christmas presents, which isn't fun.
Couple more days.
Couple more days. I gotta hurry up.
We made it.
Pretty much it though.
All right, yeah. Find me at it's late.
_ Nathan Rojas.
That's the one. Or find the guy that put NWHX10.
10x.
Oh yeah.
10x, yeah. You know, that's me. In a pandemic. I'm vaxxed, you know. Get your shots, man. But yeah, seriously, though, it's been an amazing time. These experiences have been awesome. I'm going to hopefully cut through some audience reactions. Like, honestly, if some drops, like some TV spot showing the 2 Spideys, or if I get like if they release a trailer for Multiverse of Madness, you can expect to get reactions from those, because I can't refill myself, obviously. But you know, people going nuts over Wanda and stuff. It's great. It's a fun time. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed our podcast, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if not already. Thank you for joining us on this Spidey obsessed journey. Evan can finally rest from my theories. As
2021 is over.
As he overtakes us with his Across the Spider-Verse theories. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day.